So hello there, welcome to the US Open playoff game. Game that will see 22 yards and Somerset Cavaliers. And this is game number 13, the first semi-final, as we see the two batsmen walks to the middle, Kenar Lewis and Chandra Paul Hemraj. They've been among the runs. We'll talk about that, but we come to the knockout stage. This is where it gets interesting, and I'm joined in the box by Eddie Edwards with the news. 22 yards have won the toss, and they've elected that they will bowl first. As you can see, the men in red versus the men in dark green and yellow. So what an amazing tournament we've had so far. Brilliant weather here in Lauderhill, and we're just about getting ready to start game number 13. A couple more games to go. We've got the second semi-final that will see the Atlanta Paramveers taking on US All-Stars, but for now it's 22 yards, having won the toss, and they've won something already, Eddie. They've won the toss, they've elected to bowl, and that's the situation here. Kenar Lewis, it appears, will be the man to face the first ball, and we'll have to pick up the bowler. But I want to say good morning to Eddie Edwards and to all our viewers around the world. It's good morning here. It's just after 10:30 in the United States, and so wherever you are, we want to say good evening, good night, good morning to many across the world. Good morning, Eddie Edwards.
Good morning to you, Mr. Lenny Archibald, and good morning to the entire cricketing world. You are in tune with MAQ and as Lenny rightfully pointed out, it is the US Open, and it's going to be 22 yards against the Somerset Cavaliers, and it promises to be an exciting one.
Yeah, exciting it is. And now we're beginning to see some of the top teams clashing with each other. Somerset Cavaliers, none bigger than the Somerset Cavaliers team. They've won in 2017. They were the runners-up in 2018. They won again in 2019. And so they're here to continue their winning streak. And if they win here today, they will be the second team to win consecutive championships. Back in 2011, when Trinidad and Tobago took the title in 2010 and 2011. So a lot riding on this game. And this is the semi-final game, of course. Another one to come later on. So it appears Ahmed Ned has been given the ball, the left-arm leg spinner. A man who has played at the West Indies on the 19 level and has played CPL. 4 games this year, and he's a quality leg spin bowler. We've seen how important spin is in on this track. They're using a brand new pitch, I understand. That's pitch number 3. And so, Eddie, we'll have to wait and see how this one plays as Kenar Lewis gets ready to face Ahmed Ned.
So it must be interesting because the captain right out the bat tosses the ball to Ahmed Ned, make sure that he can bring home something for his team. That delivery is played into the short cover region, and the batsman can get no run. So it is none without loss.
So Kenar Lewis has scored 12 and 5, so he hasn't really got going. We saw in the other game he got 12 with 3 fours. Other than that, his other score was 5.
But we know he's a talented player, so we're not worried too much. This one is played back to the bowler. Just moving to his left is Ned, picked up the ball. Had a little bit of problem there. A little bit of fumbling there. So perhaps with the, what do you call, the due factor.
So Kenar Lewis would have also picked up a 61 against Samp Army. So he's got 61, he's got 12, he's got 5.
So Ahmed Ned prepares to bowl to Kenar Lewis, the right-hander. And right away out towards long on. It's in the air, and he just floored it. That was a low. It was dipping on the fielder down at the long on region, and it just in and out. So cannot be happy with that delivery there.
Yeah, a very big opportunity to get Kenar Lewis. So a drop catch. A disappointing one for 22 yards. They should have picked up one. It was a straightforward chance, but the fielder came in, wasn't able to hold on. So Kenar Lewis will have to be lucky that he's still batting. Ned would have induced a faulty shot to the powerful right-hander, but certainly not accepted by the man at long on. So,
and he's in a bit of pain as well, because that ball must have hit him on the edge of the fingers. So he can see now. He's trying to walk it off, but based upon experience, we know that he's in a lot of pain out there.
Yeah, well, a bit of misfortune here for 22 yards. They have created an opportunity to get a wicket, and the big wicket of Kennard Lewis. And so we'll have to wait and see what Kennard Lewis, what other damage he can do to 22 yards.
One would be able to capitalize on that chance that he has just given. Ned is in, ball to Chanderpaul Hemraj. Plays into the short mid-wicket position, and the batsman can get no run.
So Chanderpaul Hemraj has had an amazing series so far, 50, 43 and 87 the other night.
Flicked it away in the air, just over the hand of the outstretched hand of the fielder there at short mid-wicket position. And Lenny, there goes another chance again.
Well, this one was
almost close.
This one didn't really touch the hand, but I think Christopher Barnwell just leaping in the air trying to effect a catch. And perhaps that one was a tougher one than the one from Kennard Lewis.
So two balls went aerial, one being put on and one just passing the outstretched hand of Christopher Barnwell. So the over comes to an end. A very good over, very first over from Ashmead Ned, none for two after winning the toss and asking the Somerset Cavaliers to bat. That's the latest score here from the Broward County Central Stadium. So the 22 yards team read Chevin Griffith, Aha Malik, Asad Ali, Ashmead Ned, Dane Pitt, Christopher Barnwell, Kevin Sinclair, Jesse Singh, Devendra Bishu, Shafane Rutherford, Andrew McCarthy.
And the Cavaliers team, Lewis and Hemraj out in the middle, Najah Shaw, the captain, Russell, Andre Russell, Sohaib Maxud, Navin Stewart, Ali Imran, Aaron Jones, Gudakesh Moti, Asad Gauss, and of course the West Indies international Fidel Edwards.
So it's going to be, see who's going to pick up the attack from the southern end.
So Kevin Sinclair, the off spinner, one of the players who would have played at the CPL level this year and used not only as an off spinner, Eddie, but used by the Guyana Amazon Warrior as an opener, opening a couple of games. And so the off spinner comes in here to bowl to Chanderpaul Hemraj with 2 on the board.
It's interesting. Guyanese to Guyanese. He knows him extremely well. So toss is rubbing the ball now, tossing it from hand to hand. Turns it into the short mid-wicket position. And they cannot get a run. 2 it is without loss. Turns it down towards the fine leg region. Short back of the square rather. Comes across, knocks it down. But the batsman was off for, well, that came off the outer portion of the pad. Signal comes in just a little bit late from the umpire. So that's a leg by. Takes the total now to 3 without loss. And it brings the right-hander, the hard-hitting Kennard Lewis, into strike.
Yeah, good start here from 22 yards, winning the toss. Electing to bowl first. We see one drop catch by Andre McCarthy, and we saw a near catch by a leaping Christopher Barnwell. So they have induced a couple of opportunities to score, and so far 3 on the board without loss. So as Kevin Sinclair prepares to bowl to Kennard Lewis, beaten outside the line of the off. Some listen how stifle appeal coming in there from Kevin Sinclair, getting a little bit excited. Looks like Trevor Griffith is at first slip. You see? Here is Sinclair. Lewis is hitting hard and high out towards long on. It goes over the fence for 6. So the first 6 of the match, Lenny. Yeah, US Fantasy maximum, and Kennard Lewis he goes up to 7, and that's the first boundary of the game. 6 into the straightish mid-wicket area, off the bowling of Kevin Sinclair.
So the big man is opening up his hand early. Wants to stamp his authority and stamp it extremely well. Kevin Sinclair will have to think differently now.
So this one on the offside is going to run up towards the cover boundary, and it goes one bounce over the infield. Another powerful shot from Kenar Lewis. A couple of consecutive boundaries, couple of balls.
Yes, indeed. So 6 and a 4 in 2 consecutive deliveries. Takes the total to 13. Lewis is on 11, and he just faced some 7 deliveries.
Yeah, put down by Andrew McCarthy. And whether or not they're going to pay a big price, they've already paid some price here in the amount of 10 runs in 2 shots.
Just pushing out into the onside and thought about getting a single, so decided against it. The over comes to an end at the end of over number 2. Somerset Cavaliers, they are 13 without loss. Kenar Lewis is on 11. Hemorrhage is on 1. That's the latest score here from the Broward County Stadium.
So game number 3, watched across the world. Want to say special good morning to Alalta Prasad, Dave Jaggernaut, Dervin Wallace, the boys out in the tri-state area. Somerset Cavaliers takes on 22 yards in one of the semi-final. Team led by Jesse Singh as we see Andre Russell having a bit of knock-up before the big game, certainly out in the middle. Eddie Edwards, Chris Gale and Andre Russell, the 2 big international headlining this event this year, which has always over the years brought out some of the top guns of international cricket.
And over the years we have seen the likes of Bravo here as well.
We've seen Bravo, we've seen both of the Bravos. And also we would have seen Shoaib Akhtar one year. Wayne Parnell is here.
Yes, indeed.
We've seen Sunil Narayan. We've seen Irish internationals.
You name it, they all have been here. So it's going to be Ashmead Ned who's going to continue. No, it's going to be a change of bowling. Yeah. On his way now to bowl to Emraj and pull that away down to wide mid wicket. They're gone for 1. They're coming back for the second return. It's on its way at the striker's end, but he made it home and made it home quite comfortably. So he goes on to 3 and takes the total now to some 15.
Yeah, Chandrapal Hemraj continues to bat well. In the 3 games that he has played, listen to this, Eddie Edwards, his lowest score is 43. He got 50, he got 43, and he got 87 the other night.
Very unlucky not to have gone on and scored a century. Played it out in towards the mid-wicket region.
And Kenar Lewis, his partner, got 61 in the first game, got 5 in the second game, and got 12. So he himself has gotten a big knock over 50.
And you have seen that both are pretty much, they have good coordination between the wickets.
It's a good tidy bowling here from Ned. Should have picked up the wicket of Kenar Lewis
in the very first over.
An opportunity created by Ned, but certainly not accepted by Andrew McCarthy, Jamaica first-class player.
Ashwin Ned. One is pulled away. Find the man at the wicket region.
And Ashmed Ned comes out of Guyana, of course. His father would have played at the Guyana first-class level as an off-spinner. Gavin Ned, now he's a coach. And so far he is somewhat charity begins at home, and his best coaching product will have to be his son.
Of course, there's absolutely no question about that.
Who has played West Indies under 19 already and CPL matches.
Big time he's going. One is pushed back towards the direction of the bowler. Net comes across to his left field, and the batsman can get no run.
A lot of good spin bowling for 22 yards. We've seen Gavin Ned, we've seen Kevin Sinclair, and then there's Devendra Bishu. Some quality spin bowling here, certainly for 22 yards. So they're going to rely on the spin to carry them through a lot in this game.
And we would have seen them in earlier games. They use the spin quite early too. So Ned pulled away out towards wide mid wicket. It goes over the fence for 6. The signal comes in now from the umpire. So Hemorrhage continues his woeful ways. 21 it is. He goes on to 9. He has faced some 10 deliveries. The over come to an end. And after 3 overs, the Somerset Cavaliers, they are 21 without loss. That's the latest score here from the Broward County Stadium. Lenny.
Yes, Eddie. Good-looking commanding shot again from Chandra Paul Hemorrhage. He has really given Somerset Cavalier big start. And along with Kinar Lewis, this is going to be a partnership that could get worrisome here for 22 yards. As we see Jesse Singh, the captain, will mark up his run. And he could come into the attack. So pace for the first time. As we've seen the bowling of Ashmed Ned and we've seen Kevin Sinclair. And Jesse Singh has made the choice that he'll take the ball. And Eddie, what we have seen in T20 cricket in recent time or since T20 cricket has really been popular, bowlers usually bowl in short spell. That probably to create some bit of mystery to the batsman. You don't want the batsman to get accustomed and get settled to one particular bowler.
That's true.
So they got to mix things up a little bit. And I think Jesse Singh he's a quality bowler. And he will come into bowl to Kinar Lewis. The fact is, I think Kinar Lewis likes the ball coming on, so this should be quite interesting.
Let's see if the tactical move pays off for Jesse Singh and the 22 yards. Well, pulled the handle away at the last moment. A ball that was rising on its way through to the wicketkeeper. So Kinar Lewis saw something and pulled it away. Now, Hemorrhage is going up to have a little bit of a word with him. Perhaps telling him to just watch him and see what he's bowling.
Yeah, Kinar Lewis and Chandra Paul Hemorrhage, not only for the this US Open tournament, but they have been partners in the USA Minor League Cricket for Somerset Cavaliers.
So Jesse, beating outside the line of the off stump is Kinar Lewis. So I'm pretty much sure that Jesse is encouraged now because he's getting Kinar Lewis to play some shots, and that is encouraging.
Yeah, so the Somerset Cavaliers brand owner is Aslam Khan. The manager is Sakshay Vij. And so these gentlemen, Aslam Khan in particular, has been with the Cavaliers for a long time, and he's really put a lot of resources in getting this team to where it is today.
I'm sure he wouldn't want to fall short. Jesse on his way. Kinar Lewis. And he played it well. Keeper was diving full stretch, everything that he had, and it eluded the gloves of the wicketkeeper. So Kinar Lewis given another chance there, Lenny.
Yeah, this is badly missed opportunity. Malik, the keeper, flew to his right, but just didn't hold on, and Jesse Singh has induced the edge here of Kinar Lewis. So Kinar Lewis has been given a couple of lives now, one by McCarthy. Maybe a simpler chance. And now this one by the keeper. Well bowled Jesse Singh.
So just like I said before he bowled that ball, it's encouraging the bowler because he's playing his shots. And bowlers like that when batters are playing shots.
And the fact is Jesse Singh has been a member of the Somerset Cavaliers team over time. But this year he's coming against the organization. And he's already impacted somewhat. He's allowed Kinar Lewis to offer a chance to the keeper. And while it was probably a tough one, but still.
Here is he now on his way out to bowl to Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage looking to turn it off the pads. Just wait and see what the umpire signal, if he's going to signal. Yes, indeed, it is leg by. So one more to the total. Takes it now to 24 without loss. The Somerset Cavaliers. Hemorrhage remains on 9.
So a couple of sixes already. One by Kinar Lewis and one by Chandra Paul Hemorrhage. And we've seen one ball crossing the rope. So 2 6s and 1 4. This is game number 13. This is the first semi-final. The second semi-final we'll see Atlanta Paramveers. They'll come up against US All-Stars.
Jesse too. Can I beat outside the line of the off stump? Once again, so Kinar Lewis is not really picking up the line of the ball from Jesse, and this must be the 3rd time in the over that he's been beaten outside the line of the off stump. The previous delivery to Kinar Lewis had him peeling off the edge.
Yeah, a couple of runs in the over. One will be against the analysis of Jesse Singh, and the other one, of course, being a leg by. So relative to that, this over has really gone well for Jesse Singh in 22 yards. Final ball coming up. Even if it goes for 6, this is a very good over.
Came in at a time when the batters was getting to the likes of Ashmead Ned, but this is a signal dead ball by the umpire.
So Jesse Singh forms the U.S. national pace attack these days, along with Rusty Tehran, Elmore Hutchison, and the captain, Sarab Natravalka. So part of the U.S. lineup. He's really been an improved cricketer over the years, Jesse Singh.
So he turns now in the distance, about to move in to bowl to big Kenal Lewis, the big man out of Jamaica, the land of wood and water. Kenal Lewis looking to turn it into the onside. The ball just going up, making a little bit of height, just above the stomach, the groin area. The over comes to an end, and at the end of the over, at the end of it, Somerset Cavaliers, they are 23 without loss. Kenal Lewis is on 12, Hemorrhage is on 9. That's the latest score here from the Broward County Stadium.
Yes, Eddie, I want to say shout out to Phil Meikle, one of the few Americans who have taken the time off to come to the stadium to watch some T20 cricket. So want to say a special good morning to Phil Meikle, and he's just understanding the game from an American perspective, and he's in the stadium somewhere in the stands watching the game here today. He made special effort to travel to see the U.S. Open, and he says even the COVID situation could not stop him, so he's in the ground. So wherever you are, man, want to say a special good morning to you. Welcome to the U.S. Open.
That is impressive. Very, very impressive. So we're going to see a change of bowling from the northern end. And let's see who will be taking over from Ashmead Ned. So Kevin Sinclair being switched around from the bottom end to the top end. And he'll be bowling to Hemorrhage. So Hemorrhage just looking around the field just to make sure that he has it correctly. Wouldn't want to play any shots and then regret that he didn't take a final look at the field setting. So it's all kinds of direction. Here is Sinclair on his way now to bowl to Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is being struck in a part of something. So there's a little sharp half stifle appeal from the bowler, but not outside the umpire. So the umpire is very firm, umpire Lindu. Sinclair again. This time Henry backs away and forces the bowler to go back to his mark. Sinclair it is. Hemorrhage turns down towards in the fine leg region. They're going for 1, and that's all it will be. So 1 to Hemorrhage. 1 more to the total. Takes the total now to some 24 without loss. And Lenny, since the introduction of Jesse and now Sinclair, things seems to have died down just a little bit.
22 yards is enjoying a good first 5 over here so far. The run rate is just over 5.5, and considering they're bowling to Hemorrhage and Kenal Lewis, 2 hot batsmen in this series, and both of the batsmen have created some bit of chance, so 22 yards is bowling extremely well.
Yes, they are. Having the shackles on Kenal Lewis and Hemorrhage.
And the fact is, Eddie, that this team scored 216 from the Punjab Blues yesterday, so it's not easy restricting this powerful, put-together Somerset Cavaliers team, almost a first-class team.
So the over comes, 3 delivery gone, 4.3. Played out towards ball peeling off the edge and going on towards wide third man. They're coming back for run number 2. The return comes in at the striker's end, but the batter was home. So it appears like they must have gotten, some 3 runs? Well, they got 2. So Lewis goes on to 14, 26 it is for 2. Without loss, I'm sorry. 26 without loss. Here is Sinclair. looking to put it down towards mid-wicket. He struck somewhere in the lower stomach. And there was a little half-stifle appeal again from Sinclair. Sinclair continues to appeal just about every delivery he has bowled so far, Lenny.
Yeah, he's bowled well. And they've created a very tight reign so far. Kenar Lewis picks up a single, but relative to that, it's been a very quality over. So 5 overs gone, 27 without loss. Thank you, Eddie. And we'll see you back at over number 15. So good start here from 22 yards. They've won the toss. They've elected to bowl. And after 5, we've seen 27 without loss. Somerset Cavaliers having been sent in here by 22 yards. So I'm joined in the box with Bilal. Bilal, welcome to the first semi-final. Good morning to you. And Bilal will be here for until 10 overs. So Bilal, Jesse Singh leading well. The 22 yards having won the toss. When you look at the scoreboard here after 5, 27 without loss, this is good going here for 22 yards, considering Somerset Cavaliers is a powerhouse team.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. So Kenar Lewis and Chandrapal Hemraj, as you can see, they have destroyed the opponents in the first 3 games of the regular season, and now here we are in the playoffs. They're just being careful with their shots, number one, but secondly, full credit goes to 22-yard Sultan's bowling lineup. They have been on target and targeting the outside the out stump lineup. The length has been great, and at this time they are struggling. Cavaliers, that is.
So Jesse Singh continues to probe the off stump, a little bit wide outside the off stump. And the fact is, Bilal, Jesse Singh had created the opportunity off the edge, ball peeled off the edge of Kenar Lewis, but certainly not accepted by Malik. A tough chance, but Malik was able to get glove to the ball, but did not hold on. And then in the first over of the game, Kenar Lewis struck a ball to Andre McCarthy, who put it down. So a couple of disappointments, certainly, in the 22 yards fielding outfit. So this one work down the leg side, will run away for 4. Wrong line here from Jesse Singh. And there we go, 31 on the board. A good looking shot from Kenar Lewis.
Yeah, Kenar Lewis, player of his caliber, he's not going to let those go. Took full advantage. He knows this is the last over before the field restrictions are over, and he wants to take full advantage. 4 more runs added to the Cavaliers, 31 for no loss. And then agree, Lenny, at this level, in this type of game, you have to grab those chances. Bowling has been great, but you have to take those outstanding catches to dismiss players like Kenar Lewis and Chandrapal Hemraj.
So Jesse Singh continues to bowl very well. Even ball would have gone down the leg side. Leg by is a signal.
Yeah, Jesse Singh trying to show his soccer skills, but unable to hit the stumps. It was a run-out chance, of course. Steve Batsman was there in a hurry. So 1 more run added, but still, it clearly, this pitch, as you know, Lenny, this pitch is being used today for the semifinal, but we do see some sort of bounce here compared to the other one.
So one assist also special good morning to Orlando Baker. Orlando Baker has sent in a sentiment to wish all the teams best of luck as we get into the last for Bilal Aslam. And of course, we are receiving a lot of goodwill wishes for all the team, and we'll try to go through some of the social media messages to the com box. So once a special good evening to Orlando Baker.
Yep. So thank you all of our fans that are following us on Facebook and YouTube and online. So here he has a big shot. She's got the elevation but not the distance, and it's been. There you go. Okay, finally the catch is taken.
So
It's-
Chandrapal Hemraj departs. A very high, well-judged catch. It appears to be. We'll confirm that. Could it be Sharfain Rutherford? And that happened right in front of the side screen, so we were blocked from the view there. But a well-judged catch. The ball was in the air for a very, very long time, and a well-taken catch in the end. So the first wicket goes down, and it's 32 for 1.
Courtesy of great bowling by Jesse Singh. He put the pressure on with great line and length, with the exception of one delivery. This one right in the slot, but of course good length area, and he's got the elevation but not the distance, and well judged catch finally accepted by the 22-yard Sultan fielding lineup. 32 for 1.
Yeah, Sharfain Rutherford, the Mumbai Indians man, comes up with a very good catch. Had to wait a long time, and we've seen a couple opportunities go a begging, and that would have been a little bit demoralizing for 22 yards. So we hope that will inspire a bit of good feeling here from 22 yards. They've started well, and as we see, Sohaib Maqsood comes out here at number 3, and Jesse Singh has picked up the only wicket so far.
Yeah, Sohaib Maqsood comes to the middle. Former Pakistani player, of course, still active with PSL. Shared some great performances there too. So watch out for him today. He's a big game player too.
So Sohaib Maqsood comes in at number 3.
Yeah, 33 years of age, belongs to Lahore Qalandars, and he has featured in 26 ODIs for Pakistan.
So a bit of changing around of field. Sharfain Rutherford has now exchanged places. In fact, saw the 12th man out in the middle. So Jesse Singh continues to bowl very well here. 32 on the board, 6 gone, 32 for 1.
Yeah, Kenar Lewis knew that the wicket just fell down, didn't want to take a risk, and just plays it safely. 32 for 1 after 6 overs. A conservative start by the Cavaliers, and this is what we expect in a big game, Lenny. Low scoring game probably, but you still have the big man in the hut.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at what Somerset Cavaliers have done this season in terms of scores. Well, they scored 133. They were replying to a total, so they were chasing, so they made 133. A match in which they won by 9 wickets against Samp Army. And then, of course, against US All-Stars, they made 145 against one of the better team in the tournament, batting first. And yesterday, mercifully, they were given the toss to bat first yesterday from Punjab Blues and posted 215. As we see, Asad Ali comes into the attack, and Asad Ali would have played briefly at the Pakistan international level, Bilal.
Oh yes, absolutely. Another one of those, and probably knows Sohaib Maqsood closely. Sohaib Maqsood has a great skill set, especially on the offside. He's great with his cover drives and can hit big hits as well.
So this is a Group B fixture. Well, in fact, Group B would have seen, in fact, Group A, 22 yards. Brampton Pacers, Afghan Zwanan, and Somerset Cavaliers. So Sohaib Maqsood comes in here. He got one big score during the course of the tournament.
Yep, and had played a few great innings with PSL just a few months ago. And when Sohaib Maqsood came into the scene, he was being compared with Inzamam ul Haq, the great Inzamam ul Haq. Straight bat, straight drive, and a little bit of a misfield, but they settled for 1 run there.
So Somerset Cavaliers, the defending champ. If they win the tournament this year, Bilal, they will be the second team to win consecutively. And as we made the point, Trinidad and Tobago in 2010 and 2011 would have won 2 consecutive years, led by Shazam Babwa.
Yeah.
And Shazam Babwa, had it not been maybe for the COVID situation, would have been here also. He's been a player who's been around for many cricket, U.S. Cricket Open. And so Shazam Babwa missing this year. Another player from Trinidad and Tobago who's been around the U.S. Open for many years, Adrian Ali. And so a lot of players not able to come this year because of COVID restrictions. And in particular, some of the borders being closed in some of the countries like Trinidad and Tobago.
Outside edge to third man, and for that reason, Lenny, I agree with you that our own great Vinod couldn't.
So
make
no
it.
ball. No ball is the call. Will be followed by a free hit. So Asad Ali probably not getting the foot behind the line. Signaled by umpire Jermaine Lindo, one-day international umpire who would have made his ODI debut last year in the ICC League 2. A series that included host nation Papua New Guinea and Namibia right here. And a series that I was a part of.
Yeah, excellent. Yep.
So the free hit ball, Sohib Maksud will be the recipient, and here we go. Ball played up towards the offside, so not a lot of damage done with that free hit ball, but still.
Yeah, so Lenny, between yesterday and today, we have seen with free hits, batsmen not able to take full advantage. Is there a particular reason for that? Is that, that they're not able to connect, or maybe the bowler brings his A+ game for the next ball?
Bilal, I've seen that many times at all levels of cricket. The bowler seems to come up with his best ball when there's a free hit, maybe inspired to do even extra. And so maybe bowlers need to think that every ball that they bowl is a free hit ball. Maybe they'll get better.
Yeah, that should make a difference, absolutely.
So Kinar Lewis, considering how attacking and how aggressive he is, you look at his scorecard there, 24 balls, 20. So we can safely say this is not Kinar Lewis, the Kinar Lewis that we know. He seems to be under the 8 ball here a bit, but we'll have to give credit where credit is due. 22 yards has really come up with a plan here against Kinar Lewis.
Yes, they are not letting him extend his arms. That's where his strength is, Kinar Lewis. And there's this sort of a bounce in this pitch. We have seen that. And Kinar Lewis is taking his time to adjust to that change that he has seen on the previous pitches when he played throughout the tournament. So this is a challenge, but the player of Kinar Lewis's caliber will overcome this.
So this one up the short backward square. The man, Sherfane Rutherford, who would have taken the only catch, the only wicket. And so Kinar Lewis is on 20. We've seen a very good over here from Asad Ali. Only 4 runs off the over. You can't ask for a better showing than that. And the current run rate is 5.4, 22 yards. They're playing a very good game so far, but this is a powerful batting lineup here for Somerset Cavaliers. They bat very deep, and the big man is still out there, Kinar Lewis. He could give the ball a tap. So through the offside, will this beat the man at wide mid-off? It does, and it goes away for 4. So the shackle was broken here, slightly here by Kinar Lewis. There we go, 4 runs off the bat of the big man. And a good-looking shot through the offside. That will take some pressure off Kinar Lewis, and also granting Somerset Cavaliers 4 more runs.
Shot an offer there, and there was a big gap, and he exploited that big time. Kinar Lewis, no risk needed to be taken, and ball traveled in a hurry. And extra boundary, a much-needed boundary for the Cavaliers.
So a big appeal. Now says umpire Jermaine Lindo. That completes over number 7. It's 40 for 1. They've lost the wicket of Chandrapal Hemraj for 10. 40 for 1 at the end of 7.
Yep, and that one, Kinar Lewis going across the bat. Playing across the bat, missed it. Big appeal, but rejected by the umpire. 40 for 1 after 7 overs. And I bet you Kenar Lewis and Sohaib Maqsood definitely talking about a plan. Where do we go from here? 13 more overs left, and they'll have to post a total around 140, 150 plus for them to defend it. Because especially in the semifinal games, you cannot take any chances. And we can see equally matched by 22 yards Sultan. Their bowling has been great so far. They shelled few chances, we know that. But as we speak, what really works for Cavaliers is that they still have 9 wickets in hand. So that is what matters at this point, where they can definitely go through 9th and 10th over and then, go for slogging.
So the leg spinner, the right arm leg spinner, Devendra Bishu, international player from the West Indies, comes into the attack. We saw him twice, Bilal, in the stadium. His first ball in 2 spells in the stadium got him wicket, one of which the big wicket of the universe boss, Chris Gale. So he has had great success with his first ball. Let's see what happens now.
I think so. Maqsood, also an international player, showed his class, driven down to long off, and he's just maneuvering around. But Bishu, we all know what he can accomplish. West Indian player.
So that has gone for a maximum again, short and pulled into the onside. Catch taken by the South African Dane Pete, but it was over the ropes. Another 6 here for Somerset Cavaliers. Couple of 6s here for Kenar Lewis. Oh, pulled again, short and pulled even further off the bat of Kenar Lewis. Consecutive 6s off the bowling of Devendra Bishu brings up the 50 here for Somerset Cavaliers. It's 53 for 1. And Kenar Lewis beginning to open up now, Bilal. Could this be the over when Kenar Lewis breaks loose?
Let's see, he's already loose here. Bishu, he needs to make that adjustment quickly. The short length will not work for Kenar Lewis. He will take you for granted, and you saw that back-to-back 6s, deep mid-wicket area. It just went miles. So 2 maximum, back-to-back maximums, and Cavaliers, they're back at it, 53 for 1.
Yeah, I played with the turn, short ball from Devendra Bishu. Very poor deliveries. And now we're beginning to see Kenar Lewis finding his form. Oh, better ball. Good comeback ball from a man who has played 36 tests and 41 international for the West Indies, 117 test wickets. I know this is not test match, but that will give you an assessment of how good Devendra Bishu has been at the international level. This is T20 cricket.
And the T20 cricket, and we have seen leg spinners. They have performed very well, even though they have gone for runs, but they are wicket-taking options all the time.
Oh, Kenar Lewis has gone high in the air. This fielder is coming around. Sinclair, I think it is, and Rutherford, and we'll have to wait and see if the catch was taken. And a bit of collision there while the umpire signaled 4. And so a bit of misfortune over 22 yards, but good here for Somerset Cavaliers. Another boundary is added to the scorecard. It's 57 for 1. Lewis goes up to 40, and he gets another boundary there, as we see one of the players may have injured his finger during the course of a near collision here by 2 of the fielder, Bilal.
Lack of communication really cost them not only the boundary, but also the wicket of Kenar Lewis. As we were speaking about leg spinners creating chances, and here you are. Yes, he was hit for back-to-back 6s, but he created that chance, and it was all on the 22-yard Sultan to capture it. This was basically stayed in the air for so long. Fielders had all the time in the world to communicate that who's going to go for the catch, but there was a collision, not only the drop catch, but additional boundary added to Cavaliers.
So not a good over there for 22 yard. Bishu has gone for 17. Couple of 6s in that over and 1 4. So relative to that, let's take a look. It's the most expensive over so far for 22 yards. So we're beginning to see a resurgence of Kennar Lewis's form. Got a 61 in the earlier part of the series. He's got a 5 and got 12. Those are his 3 scores in the series. And so far he's 14 not out at the moment, as Asad Ali will come into bowl to Sohaib Maqsood. Maqsood is on 3. Oh, it's in the air, offering a chance again. Fielder takes the catch this time. And Sohaib Maqsood has to go. Catch taken by, it appears to be Christopher Barnwell. And so the second wicket goes down. Is 57 for 2. Sohaib Maqsood gone.
Yeah, Sohaib Maqsood, even though there was no need of doing this, because what his job was, he was on a mission to let Kennar Lewis do the damage, but he wanted to show his skill set. You know, it wasn't middle of the bat, and well judged catch. Long on. So Sohaib Maqsood back in the hut now, 57 for 2 now.
So one of the marquee players of this year's event, Andre Russell, strides out to the middle. And so Andre Russell, number 12, comes to the crease. And Bilal, the world knows of 2 of the marquee players appearing this US Open. The one, of course, being Chris Gayle and fellow Jamaican Andre Russell as he comes to the crease.
Yeah, the 2 Jamaicans, of course, are featuring in today's 2 semi-final games. One here, the first one, Andre Russell. As he walks in, let's see what he has to offer. But he's a big game player, we know that. He's got the power, he can do the damage, but I'm sure he wants to settle in and wants to test this new pitch out, how it plays out. And he just needs to be careful, I think, within the first few deliveries, get the eye in, and then go from there.
So Dre Ross, and he's as popular as anyone else in world cricket. We've seen how destructive he can be at the highest level.
Yeah, he has shown his skill set all around the world.
So in the series so far, Russell has scored 19 and 3 not out. So that alone tells you that he hasn't had much in the middle. A couple of years ago, Bilal, he got 103 as one of the centuries here for Somerset Cavaliers. So he's returned to his sort of like US home base, and that being Somerset Cavaliers, and certainly a top player at the world level. And he, along with Chris Gayle, headlines the 2020 season for the US Open.
Yeah, so fortunate for US Open to feature both of them. Yeah, they have fan following all around the world, and once people know that they are here in action, you'll see the fans, they'll tune in.
So Kennar Lewis on 40, beginning to find some better ground. We saw in the previous over, got a couple of big strikes off the bowling of Devendra Bishu. And over that went for 17 against Bishu, couple of 6s and 1 4. And the 4 that crossed the boundary line was a possible chance, as a couple of the fielders encroached on the ball, and in the end, the ball falling through and crossing the rope. So 22 yards have had some misfortune going against them in the innings so far. And the catching has not been as good as probably as they would want, but that's the nature of cricket.
Yes, draft chances will come, but you just need to move on.
And Asad Ali has bowled reasonably well. He's only given up 9 so far in 10 deliveries, and he's picked up a wicket. So relative to that, he's picked up the wicket of Sohaib Maqsood. So relative to that, he's been bowling extremely well.
Yes, I think for youngsters who are watching out there, see, no matter who is facing you, how you need to be careful with your line and length. Once you can, adjust that, you find your spot. Players, batsmen, they can try to hit you, but of course, if your line and length is great, it's really hard to do that.
Oh, he's been given out. So that's the end of Kenar Lewis. He falls for 40. It's 58 for 3. Asad Ali has come up with a wicket. And a big appeal to Jeremy Lindo. And so the big man goes 22 yards are successful on this delivery. Asad Ali picks up his second wicket.
Kenar Lewis, he was struggling against Asad Ali all the way. And, you know, at this time he went across, was plumb in front. And umpire did not hesitate for a second, raised the finger, and he walks out. So Kenar Lewis now is back in the hut. So he scored 40 of 35. Well played 40. And 58 for 3 in the 9th over. So Asad Ali grabbed his second wicket now in the 2nd over, bowling very well, and this could be the game-changing over for Cavaliers.
So Ali Imran comes to the middle. And Ali Imran Bilal, not too sure if you were in the stadium, but he's the hero of one of the game against US All-Star, slammed 49 in quick time. A game in which Somerset Cavaliers were on course to get only about 120 runs. But when Ali Imran came in, he played some lofty shots towards the end. And in the end, Somerset Cavaliers was able to post some 153, I think. And so he propelled them to a very respectable score, considering they were struggling a little bit. So Ali Imran comes out here at 58 for 3, just on the stroke of the 9th over.
Yeah, and at this point, he's lucky enough that he will be batting next to Andre Russell.
Yeah, and Asad Ali, in the meantime, the former Pakistani international, has picked up 2.
All right, so played carefully towards the point area, and Andre Russell decides not to take a single there.
So when play resumes, the big man Andre Russell will be on strike. It's 58 for 3 at the end of 9. They're going a 6.4. And 3 wickets down here as Somerset Cavaliers battle 22 yards.
So from here on, what do you think, Lenny? I mean, will be a reasonable total, 58 for 3 and 9 overs, 11 more to go?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to tell. Not too sure what the what they will end up here, but I'm looking at the projection on my app here, and it's not telling me a big score. So relative to that, we'll have to wait and see. I'm showing something in the vicinity of 128, 135, but I'm pretty sure towards the latter stages, the likes of Ali Imran and Andre Russell, if Andre Russell stick around here long enough, he will certainly be... Oh, there's a big chance here as it flew to Trevon Griffith. It may have, and Trevon Griffith did not pick up the chance. So Devendra Bishu has induced the edge here to off Andre Russell. He shakes his head. And Trevon Griffith may have put down a big one here today.
Have they dropped the chance to win this game today? Because Andre Russell, anytime you can get him out on the second ball, that does not happen too often. So there you go. I think these drop chances will cost 22 yards Sultan big time.
Yeah, and Trevon Griffith realizes that. Look, he looks up to the heavens and says, what has he done? Putting down Andre Russell, you don't do that. And whether or not that will make a big difference in this game, we are going to see that. Devendra Bishu, he's a top quality leg spinner. And he sort of like a golden ball, a ball that drew Russell forward, picked the edge, one slip in place, and Trevon Griffith did not hold on.
So this time around, we waited for the delivery to come to him. Andre Russell plays it safely, and one extra run. So Bishu has settled down, it looks like. His line of length, he's getting closer to the bat. So there you go. And he is just mandating batsmen to be careful and not to go for the big shot.
So 61 balls remaining. Devendra Bishu has gone well in this over.
Another single there.
So 10 overs gone. Ali Imran and Andrew Russell out in the middle for Somerset Cavaliers. And 62 for 3 is the score as we take leave here from Bilal. And we'll bring in Audley Watson into the box. Audley will go from 10 to 15. So a global audience, Audley Watson, but a good game on hand here as we want to say good morning. In fact, we want to say good morning from Fort Lauderdale to Omer Sheikh, and Omer Sheikh, we want to send you greetings from Lauderhill and specifically from Vinod Mamchan. So I want to say special good evening to Omer Sheikh, I think out in Dubai or somewhere around the world. Yeah. Out in Dubai. So welcome into the box, Audley Watson.
Good morning for the first time this morning, Lenny. And for our listeners throughout the world, it's good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you. It's not a wonderful day for cricket right here at the park here in Lauderhill.
So Ali Imran will be on strike. Ned comes back into the bowling attack.
Yeah, two pretty new batsmen.
So Ned is before this one, he's bowled 2 overs for 10 runs. That's a good bowling in T20 cricket, Audley.
As a matter of fact, the bowling this morning has been very impressive. I'm particularly impressed with Jesse Singh. He is keeping that ball just about on the offside, just outside, not enough to be called a wide. And indeed, he did induce Hemraj, who is a very prolific scorer in this year's tournament, to play a foul shot.
So Andrew Russell, the man on strike, he's offered a chance to second slip. It goes down the ground and 1 bounce for 4. So if Andrew Russell is let loose here today, Audley, we could be in for a treat if you are a Somerset Cavaliers fan. 4 runs down the ground from the big man Andrew Russell.
Indeed, it depends on what side of the fence you're sitting.
So Andrew Russell, and Audley, I know you're a stats man, I'm pretty sure he has many records, but one of them, of course, in the CPL, he's the only player to have scored 100 and taken a hat-trick in a CPL game.
And that's one cannot be beaten, can be equaled, but not be, well, eventually might be beaten. But for the time he has that record.
He got it against Trinbago Knight Riders. So a hat-trick and a century in the same game. So Andre Russell, I'm pretty sure you would know he has many other records, or at least among some of the record holders in world cricket.
J. Russ, as he's affectionately called, a man who's well known. Just say the name J. Russ and know exactly who you're talking about.
And this is a good contest. Young Ashmed Ned out of Guyana has already had some CPL experience, having played at the West Indies on the 19 level not too long ago.
And that's the type of a tournament we're having here. A lot of experienced players, a lot of international players, a lot of players who anyone could pay, and as Ivor would say, go back outside and pay again to watch.
So 69 for 3 at the end of 11. You're seeing this on your scorecard. They're going at 6.3. And if they continue to go like that, I think my projection is showing something in the vicinity of 128. But what the app doesn't realize, who's batting. And Andre Russell, if he goes berserk here this afternoon or this morning, we could see 22 yards in for a bit of ball hunting. But you never know. Devendra Bishu was bowled well, none for 21. But when you consider a chance, a big chance, to pick up the wicket of Andrea Russell went a begging. Oh, straight down the ground from Ali Imran. He's gone a long way in front of the com box. And that goes massively out of the park for 6. It's 75 for 3.
Yes, Bishu once again just a little bit strained, maybe down the leg side, and the batter advances down the pitch, knowing that even if he missed, he wasn't going to hit the wicket. But that was well taken way over, down towards us here. 6 on any ground, and of course that's a USA fantasy maximum.
So Ali Imran, he's batted well in one of the games against US All Stars, smashed 49 in quick time. So we know he can hit the ball. He can hit this ball out of this park. And this is a full-size ground, certainly not by any means a small ground. We've seen 10 T20 internationals here, and over time we've seen the CPL come home to Lauderhill. So Bishu continues to operate here. He's so far he's given up 28.
And take it in mind that 1 over was taken for 16.
Oh, has he bowled Andre Russell? Yes, he has. And Devendra Bishu has taken the wicket of Chris Gale in this series. And now Andre Russell. What bowling from Devendra Bishu? It's a 76 for 4.
International to international. Now, for some bowlers, maybe when you're hit for a couple of bounces or a couple of sixes, then you get frustrated. But look, with the experience of Bishu, he said, look, I'm going to come at you. And he did exactly that. Russell was beaten for pace, went back, and it was twinkle, twinkle, little stars.
Yeah, it might have kept a little bit low, but then it may have turned on him. And we don't have the advantage of the replay system to have another look. But in the end, Russell goes, and one of the most happiest man on earth here today might have been Trevon Griffith.
Oh,
as
yeah.
he would have spilled an opportunity to get Russell earlier, but not enough damage was done here. So thankfully, I'm pretty sure he might be thanking Devendra Bishu for a long time to come that, well, I made a mistake, but you have really cleaned up. And so it appears Aaron Jones is the new man in. He got a 91 in the last game, so this is going to be interesting. 76 for 4. Devendra Bishu has picked up 1. Andre Russell is back in the shade.
And just when things you think would have gotten better, I mean, Aaron Jones right here, local boy, he has been making a lot of, just as you mentioned before, just yesterday, he made 91. So this could be another run fest, but so far the bowlers have been doing very well. They have kept the batters quiet. Occasionally there are a couple of loose balls that had been dispatched for 6, but overall the bowling has been very good so far. It's only 76 for 4 after almost 12 overs.
So 50 balls remaining, so we can do a little bit of math here, Audley Watson. So the score is 76. Let's say they go run a ball 50. We're looking at what, 126, or is that 136? I'm not very good with math.
126.
So that's a bit of projection for you, but you want to think with Ali Imran out in the middle, they may want to advance that scoring rate beyond 6 runs and over.
And of course, being the defending champions, you want to make sure when you're bowling at your opponents, they have something substantial to defend. So they'll be gunning to at least get 150, hopefully, if they haven't lose any more wickets.
So 12 overs gone, 76 for 4.
Yes, they'll definitely be gunning for anything in the range of 150 runs. And being champions, they know how to win. You know, winning is a habit, and once you start to win, they're going to find some way to pull things out of the bag.
So Ned has been given the ball again. We'll finish up here. He's bowled 3 over for 17. Not bad bowling.
Not in T20. Very economical. 3 overs for 17 runs.
So he will finish up here at 76 for 4. Ali Imran. We've seen the other night he could give the ball a tap already. He has struck 1 towering 6.
And he will be aiming to add a wicket or 2 to his column, his wicketless column.
And oddly, I'm pretty sure if 22 yards is to restrict this powerful Somerset Cavaliers to 130, 140, I think the bowlers and the fielder would have really done a good job, and it will be up to the batsman to get that. They do have a very powerful batting lineup, so this game well and truly on. There's a big appeal. He's given out, caught behind. So Ali Imran goes. Ashmid Ned picks up one, and all of a sudden, 76 for 5. The young leg spinner has picked up the wicket of Ali Imran, caught behind, and 76 for 5. Oddly,
the champions could be in some trouble here. 5 wickets down for 76 runs, and the bowlers, their tails are in the backs right now. So look, they're in with a big chance here. Very good bowling. They have been nagging. They have been, saying, look, if you want to get me, you have to come get me. And eventually, it's paying off. The ball is, I must say, keeping low at times. And they're playing on pitch number 3. The first time it's been used in this tournament. And it is showing to be very useful. You get the odd bounce, but then, the bowlers are really utilizing the pace of the wicket.
so Nathan Stewart comes to the middle, and Nathan Stewart, oddly, he's a player that whether he bowls or whether he bats, things seem to happen. And a man who's been part of winning U.S. squads over the years, would have been part of the California Bears, and got player of the match on that occasion. Denied Somerset Cavaliers a victory a couple of years ago. And he comes in here with some batting work needs to be done. Ned has picked up his first wicket, 76 for 5. Oh, good delivery here from Ashmed Ned.
That one again keeping low.
And when you consider 5 wickets have fallen, they have spilled what, 3 or 4 chances.
Could easily be 8.
This 22 yards is giving a very good account of themselves so far. Somerset Cavaliers are powerful, put together team, almost a first class team. When this team plays in New York, in the tri-state area, oddly, they're so hard to beat. The very, very, very few teams would have gotten the best of Somerset Cavaliers. Powerful team put together by Aslam Khan, Sakshevij. And the fact is they're the defending champions. They have won the US Open 2 times in 3 years. So that alone tells you how well this unit has played over the years.
And they have still not given up on this year either. They are in a bit of struggle right now, I would say.
Oh! A catch from Devendra Bishu! Nevin's chart falls, 76 for 6 and 22 yards. Has picked up another wicket. Ned has picked up a couple of wickets in this over. A brilliant catch by Devendra Bishu. Navin Stewart, not often he goes without scoring, but he does today. And that's another big wicket here for 22 yards.
That was a brilliant catch. Man went at that one, hit it real hard, going down. He want to go down over mid-wicket. It was kept low down to maybe short mid-wicket. And Bishu moved like a cat and taking that one in both hands. That was magnificent catching by Bishu. Indeed, good cricket.
All of a sudden, we're beginning to see contrasting fielding style now. Now we're beginning to see all the catches are being taken and the bowling being on top. And
yes.
so Devendra Bishu, he pulled one out of the air. And for those who did not see or we don't have the replay system, the ball was flicked into a short mid-wicket position, just well inside of the 30-yard ring. And Devendra Bishu just flew to his right and plucked one out of the air. And that was the end of a always reliable Nathan Stewart, but he's gone back to the hut with nothing on the board. And all of a sudden it's 76 for 6.
We are quite sure that one will make the highlight reels for this evening. You know, there's always the highlights on MAQ TV. And little later, I'm quite sure you'll be seeing that one on the highlight reel. Beautiful. I mean, magnificent catch by Bishu.
So Bishu, 3 overs no made 1 for 28 with a brilliant catch. Comes back into the attack. Aaron Jones and Sean Finley has come out to the middle. Both batsmen relatively new to the crease. In fact, Jones has only faced a couple of balls. So now it will be from Aaron Jones and Sean Finley and whoever to come to really use up the other 42 balls. They've lost 6 wickets already.
As a matter of fact, in the commented last over, if I'm not mistaken, Ned has taken a double wicket maiden.
So Jones, the last time we saw him batting in the stadium, got 91. Batted extremely well the other day, in which Somerset Cavaliers posted a double 100, 215, 216.
The only double 100 for the tournament, the highest score, of course.
So Sean Finley comes into the attack, a man who's played briefly at the international level. Hasn't had much opportunity with Somerset Cavaliers in this series. Just goes to show the bench strength of Somerset Cavaliers, but he gets an opportunity here, a big swing and a miss. And the good bowling of Devendra Bishu continues, 77 for 6.
Right, we saw the flash of the light, but that was an attempted stump by the wicketkeeper. That one is squeezed to the slip area, vacant slip area, may I say? No.
So 39 balls remaining. We got 4 wickets standing. Aaron Jones, who got a 91 in the last game and got a 1 in one of the other game. He goes to long on. Fielder comes in, takes the catch. And Aaron Jones fails today. He goes for 1. It's 78 for 7. Kevin Sinclair comes in, takes a well-judged catch. And another wicket goes down here for Somerset Cavaliers. They're falling here oddly.
All of a sudden, 22 yards has just grown to 23 yards. They are indeed bowling to a plan. As I've said earlier, the bowlers are on target. They see him in their team meeting. They say, look, this is what we're going to do. And they are sticking to the plan. And magnificent bowling, of course, by the 22 yards. And Bishu has taken his second wicket. He was expensive in 1 over. He was cleaned up for 2 sixes and a 4. Came back. He was hit for another 6. But look, he is still here and taking wickets. Second wicket, 2 for 13, 3 overs and 4 balls.
So Asad Gauss comes out to the middle, the off spinner.
And this, I would say, the Somerset Cavaliers, they are in more than a spot of bother. They are in a whole lot of trouble right now.
So 78 for 7, Asad Gauss, the off spinner. And he could bat a bit. Asad Gauss likes to play shots. And so he comes out here with 38 balls remaining, 3 wickets standing. And 22 yards are beginning to everything seems to be going right. The bowling has certainly been on top. We're beginning to see some good catching. Kevin Sinclair has come up with a very good, well-judged catch. Had to run in a bit, but relative to that, pretty simple, straightforward catch. Regulation catch at that position of the field.
I think they have made up for the blunders they made in the earlier part of the innings.
So Asad Gauss, who has led the unit over time, Somerset Cavaliers, in the absence of Najaf Shah. And of course, Asad Gauss has led in the minor league series, held in August and September in the tri-state area. So Bishu runs in. And 78 for 7 so far. So we'll run through the scorecard. Kinar Lewis for 40, Chandrapal for 10, Maksud for 3, Russell for 8, Ali Imran 11, Aaron Jones 1. Navin Stewart without scoring. So that completes over number 14 is 78 for 7.
And also complete the bowling for Bishu in this match. 4 overs, 30 runs and 2 wickets. He came back real well in his last couple of overs.
Yeah, that's the second bowler for 22 yards that would have completed their allotted spell. We saw a maiden over from Ashmed Ned, a double wicket maiden. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 17 for Ned. And Devendra Bishu 2 for 30 at the end of his 4. So Kevin Sinclair comes back into the attack, having bowled a couple of overs here. Oddly, 78 for 7. Advantage so far has gone to 22 yards, but runs on the board. Runs on the board.
Runs on the board, runs on the board. And strangest things have happened. Even if Somerset should end up losing the match, or they have nothing, they would have nothing to be shamed about. Earlier today, India was blown away the entire side for 36 by Australia, and this is 78 for 7. Beautiful day for cricket, sunny, not too cold. Yesterday was a windy, very windy one, not just windy the day before as well, windy and chilly. Much different today. Sun is out in its glory, and so is the cricket. Glorious cricket is being played right in US Open.
So Assad Gauss would have played at US under 19 level and also at the senior level. And he comes in here with 35 balls remaining. Kevin Sinclair, the off spinner with some CPL experience, has played well for Guyana and the Warriors. And not only used as an off spinner oddly, but would have opened the innings a couple of times at the CPL level. So that tells you probably he's much more than an off spinner who can bat.
Useful all-rounder. If you're going to open the innings, got to be a good batter.
So Assad Gauss can score. So good over so far here for Kevin Sinclair.
Real steady has been the bowling for the entire innings so far for 22 yards. Not a steady one, pushed out on the offside, but no run. So they have actually tightened the screw. 5 dot balls so far in this over. And it is a time when Cavaliers should be accelerating, but they have been kept quiet. And a maiden over completed by Sinclair, so pushing the Cavaliers further back once again. So it's 75 for 8 after 78 for 7 after 15 overs.
So welcome back to the Broward County Stadium, and how fast things has changed here. The situation here out in the middle, that the Somerset Cavaliers, they are 78 for 7. So the new batsman is Assad Gauss, and he's yet to open his account. Sean Findlay is on strike, the former Jamaican and West Indies batsman. And it's going to be Dane Pete who's going to pick up the attack from the commentary box end. Placed out in towards the cover region and come off the long off boundary. So Finley gets a single. He goes on to 2 from some 5 delivery. Takes a total to some 79 for 7. And Lenny, things has changed since I left the combox.
Yes, Eddie Edwards, as we see the operation here of Dane Pete, having played 7 test matches for South Africa. Over time, we've seen 3 South African in this series. We saw Wayne Parnell, who may have created a US Open record, 7 wickets last night.
Yes, indeed. Brilliant bit of bowling.
And also we saw Cody Chetty, one of the first-class players out of South Africa. Also over the years, we've seen the likes of Rusty Terran, another South African who has played in this US Open T20 series over the years. So the South Africans have made their journey to Lauderhill from time to time. And the man bowling his off-spin now, Dane Pete, has played at the international level at one point.
So it's 80 for 7. And the 22 yards must be loving their chances now, as opposed to when I left here early on after some 5 overs, and we have seen the completion of some 15.2 overs, and they would have lost some 7 wickets, and they were losing them at very crucial time.
Yeah, a good spin attack employed here by 22 yards. We saw Kevin Sinclair, we saw Ned, we saw Bishu, and now we're beginning to see Dane Pete.
So
Backed up by Jesse Singh and Asad Ali. So very formidable bowling attack, and you look at the scorecard here, they've done well.
Exactly. Finney was looking to pull it down towards the back of the square position. Might have came off the outer portion of the pad. Let's see what the umpire signal. Yes, indeed, it is a leg by.
So 83 for 7. Still the Somerset Cavaliers batting lineup. They bat very deep, even to the number 11, which could be Najaf Shah.
So with all that batting lineup, the 22 yards must be saying to themselves, we're not afraid. We're going to take it to them and let them beat us if they're going to beat us. Coming down the track, played it out towards the wide mid-wicket, long on area.
So Najaf Shah, speaking of Najaf Shah, this is Najaf Shah's 5th US Open. And he does have a very strong leadership record. We'll probably cover that sometime during the course of this game.
I'm sure that we will. It's swing the way down towards long on. Finds the man wearing the number 13 jersey in the way. And Finley can only pick up a single. So they're now dealing in singles now after a flurry of runs from Kenar Lewis and Hemraj in the opening session. Things have died down a lot because they would have lost a lot of wickets in those middle overs. So 16 overs completed, 85 it is for 7. Finley is on 5, Gauss is on 2. That is the latest score here from the Central Broad Regional Park. So the players are getting a little bit of refreshment. Some 4 overs remaining. And the current run rate is at some 5.3. They'll have to come better than that. The Somerset Cavaliers, they want to get into the finals. And of course, this is the first semi-finals being played here today.
So I'm showing a projection here based on what's happening here in terms of the scoring rate and some other factors taken into consideration. Showing us a projection here of 116, 119. So Kevin Sinclair continues ball played into the deep areas, gone for a maximum of the batter, Sean Finley. So he has opened up and he has struck a good one out of the park. And that's a good looking shot from Sean Finley.
And that probably was the instruction that came from the dressing room when they went out there with a little bit of refreshment. So Sean Finley's opening up now, and let's see how long he will be able to continue to go gung-ho.
Yeah, Sean Finley is a quality player, top all-rounder. And if there's any fight left towards the ending here with 23 balls remaining, it will have to come from the former international West Indies player, Sean Finley, as he has struck a very big 6 down the ground.
That's a big shot from Sean Finley. Let's see what Sinclair will come back with now as he begins to move in from the northern end. Finley's just sweeping that away down towards the fine leg region. They're going for one. They will cross the boundary now. So 6 and 4. The signal comes in from the umpire. So 2 good looking shots there from Sean Finley. Takes it total to 15. 91 it is for the loss of 7. The Somerset Cavaliers.
Yeah, 95 actually. So Finley goes quickly up to 15. And Eddie Edwards, this is where this is going to be the defining moment of this match. Watch these runs towards the end. Up until this point, 22 yards were holding Cavaliers to relatively a well manageable score. But watch these last set of overs and these runs piling up. We saw it the other night when Ali Imran came in against US All-Stars. Could this be a resurgence by Sean Finley?
Well, let's see, because he traps that down towards the point region. And the man coming across and knocks it down and prevent the batsman from getting a single. Sinclair now on his way to bowl to Finley. Pulling this one down to, and this one goes over the ropes. It is another 6. It's another big shot from Sean Finley. So he's on fire. All of a sudden, Sean Finley has opened up, and he has opened up extremely well.
Yes, 100 on the board, 101 for 7. We have seen 16 runs in this over so far. Couple of sixes and a 1-4. In fact, 14 runs, 16 runs, sorry. And it's 101 on the board. Sean Finley has certainly opened up, as you mentioned, Eddie Edwards.
Just to the, in front of the umpire at square, at back with a square. So one more to Finley. He goes on to 22. Brings Gouts into strike.
So 19 balls remaining. And Eddie Edwards watched these runs at the end. I've seen it happen so many times. We saw it the other night when Ali Imran slammed 49 in the last 5 overs in that game. Somerset Cavaliers made some 54 runs, which was really the deciding difference between a win and a loss.
Yes, so this could very well be a resurgence, as you rightfully mentioned, and let's see what Sinclair will do. This one is flicked away down towards the mid-wicket position. He does the catch, he goes. And is this a commentator's curse? Finley is beside himself. He must be saying, you could have gone over the top and you choose to flick it, but it wasn't hard and high enough. He perished out in the deep. It's 102 for 8.
Yeah, good catch there this time by Andrew McCarthy. He put down one earlier on, but that's history. Kenar Lewis is gone, and he's picked up a good catch to dismiss Assad Gauss, and another wicket goes down. It's 102 for 8.
So, Sean Finley, besides himself when once the catch was taken by McCarthy, wasn't really privy to what he was saying. Couldn't hear him, but the action, the animated Sean Finley, he was beside himself. So it's all happening out in the middle at the Central Broad Regional Park. The Somerset Cavaliers, from 17 overs, they are 102 for 8. Let's see what the 22-yard Sultan will do with the remaining overs. 3 overs left, legal overs that is, and we're going to have a change of bowling. It's Jesse who's going to come back. The captain himself, he's going to pick up the attack from the commentary box end. Perhaps he believed that he can run through the tail end of the Somerset batters. So Sean Finley remains on 22. 13 deliveries he faced.
So Fidel Edwards has come to the middle. A man who has played about 50 tests for the West Indies and almost the same amount of one international, with his highest international score being 30. Could do well to get a 30 here this afternoon with 18 balls remaining. Jesse Singh has led well, he's bowled well. And look at that, he's bowled a couple of overs for just 5 runs. He's picked up 1, and let's see who has he picked up. He picked up the wicket of Chandrapal Hemraj, one of the big fish.
Very good wicket indeed.
And so he will come into bowl to his fellow paceman, Fidel Edwards, out of Barbados and through the West Indies. And Eddie Edwards, as a fast bowler, when you've got to be kind and gracious to your fellow fast bowler, because you could be at the receiving end later on.
I am not too certain about that. It's a game. You have to protect yourself. So once you see I coming in, protect yourself. Jesse. Just like he's putting the bat away.
Well, you can be
of the off stump.
You certainly can be gracious to an extent, but when you've got a match to win, then of course I think it's a different situation, and the rivalry or the war stays on the cricket field for now. I'm pretty sure they're very good friends of.
Well, let me ask you a question. You talk about being gracious. How would you explain if Fidel Edwards hit him for a 6 and a 4? I think the graciousness would come when Fidel Edwards coming back to the pavilion. Jesse on his way to Fidel Edwards. On top of toes pushed out into the covers.
Well, I was thinking more along the line. Do you bowl short to Fidel? Do you come
York him
with some of the shorter stuff? Because we all know towards the end of the innings, bowlers do employ the short ball. The short ball is not really an intimidatory ball. It's a wicket-taking delivery sometimes towards the batters towards the end.
And it can become problematic and very serious for some batters. They really don't like it.
So far, Jesse continues to bowl well. He's kept the ball on one side of the pitch we saw today. In fact, there was one ball string down the leg side from my memory that went for 4 off the bat of Keenar Lewis. But relative to that, he's kept the ball pretty much on 5th stump. And he's bowled with good bounce, good carry. And so far, he is, you look at his bowling figure and you wonder why he's really come up with some very good bowling figures here today. He's led well.
So 2.3 overs, 1 for 5. So someone was walking across what we said, a side screen, just to the left of the players, guiding it away down towards 3rd man. So Fidel Edwards is off the mark, and we have seen some 4 overs completed.
Yeah, important 3-dot balls there for Jesse Singh and 22 yards. They've held Fidel Edwards pretty much stable, and now the big hitter Sean Finn, who's opened up in the last over. And this is the man you want to give every opportunity to with 14 balls remaining.
Well,
This Sean Finley strike could really be the deciding difference where Somerset Cavaliers ends up.
every man pretty much is out on the boundary, back with a square, mid-wicket, long off, long on. Guiding it away down towards short 3rd man. Gets a single. Brings Fidel Edwards back into strike. So 17.5. But I tell you what, the run chase is going to be interesting. Because as you said, the projected total should be somewhere in the region of 116. Let's say 120. And if the 22-yard Sultan have 120 for victory, it's going to be interesting. I just want to ask you, where would your money be? But you don't have to answer now. We can wait until the overs are completed.
Yeah, I'll answer you Sunday afternoon.
I
4
will-
o'clock?
I will be waiting on that answer. Here is Jesse. This way to Edwards. Edwards gets a sharp lift and it'll replay it out into the short cover region, gets a single. So the over comes to an end. At the end of 18 over, Somerset Cavaliers, they are on 105 for 8. Sean Finley is on 23. Fidel Edwards on 5. That is the latest score here at the Central Broad Regional Park.
So Eddie, the other semi-final, that'll be game number 14. We'll see Atlanta Paramveers taking on the US All-Stars right here at Fort Lauderdale, right in this ground, same setting.
It's going to be a dandy. It's going to be a repeat performance of what we saw between these two teams a couple of days ago. So you better pack up because they're getting ready. It's going to be a dandy. So 105 for 8.
So Asad Ali will be bowling over number 19. He's bowled extremely well himself. Asad Ali 2 for 9. He's picked up the wicket of fellow countryman Sohaib Maksud, and also got the big man Keenar Lewis out of Jamaica.
Got a big fish. Certainly Keenar Lewis can hold his own.
So Najaf Shaw is the only man set to come. Najaf Shaw has led well.
Haven't seen much of him in the batting department though.
He's a typical tail-ender. Members of the Tail-Enders Union. Tail-Enders Association.
That's at Ali. This one is slapped away out towards cover. It's running away to the boundary for 4. Good shot there by Fidel Edwards.
Yeah, that's a good shot. These runs are very important. Could make a big difference here. 109 on the board, 11 balls remaining. And this total will be into that zone, what you call a tricky total, not by any means a pushover total. And you want to create a bit of tentativeness in the batting approach, batting chase. And we'll have to wait and see. 109 on the board, that's for sure.
Yeah, that run's already made, so they'll have to bowl well to prevent the 22-yard Sultan from making that runs.
And Fidel Edwards has started pretty well. We're looking to Sean Finley to take most of the strike.
On
But
driving out towards wide mid wicket and the long on region.
Yes,
It's a single.
Yes, Eddie, and you know, many times we have a tendency of saying, oh, we need to give the strike to the senior batsman and Sean Finley, but at the same time, what we saw Fidel Edwards doing, you got to help yourself too. Everybody can hit the ball
definitely.
out of the park
Yes,
at some
indeed.
point.
I totally agree.
And sometimes it's easier said than done. Let's give Sean Finley the strike as if it's an easy thing to always hit the ball for four.
Absolutely not. You have to give the non-striker a chance to defend. He has to make runs too because he's capable of making runs. So here is Asif Ali on his way to Finley. Finley gets a little slapped it out towards deep cover. It goes over the fence. Yes, indeed, it is 6. So big lick there by Sean Finley in the dying stages of this over. We're into the 19th over. Sean Finley goes up to 29. 116, Lenny, for 8.
Well, the projection has now gone up to a 127. So things change here. And a big shot here from Sean Finley over the offside. So these runs are very important runs. And this one has gone quite expensive here for Asad Ali. He's gone for what? 6 and a 4 and a 1. So he's gone for 11 off this over.
The pressure is mounting.
A good one for Cavaliers. Not a good one here for 22 yards. Sultan Asad Ali, former Pakistani international, coming up against a West Indian international, Sean Finley.
The camaraderie continues between these two. Flicked away down towards the short back with a square position coming across, but he wouldn't get there. The ball goes into the boundary board. 4 more to Finley. 4 more to the Cavaliers.
Is that a no ball?
Well, the umpire is signaling.
Well, we wait and see. Yeah, no ball 4. So no ball 4, free hit following.
Oh my goodness, what do you know? Just when you thought Asad Ali would be pulling it back, he giving it away. So far in this over, it's 2 for 25 from 2.3.
The projection has gone up to 132. So, and a free hit ball, thankfully for Somerset Cavaliers. Sean Finley, who's batted extremely well so far, 16 balls, 33, will be the man on strike and not Fidel Edwards. So Asad Ali losing the plot here a bit. And so far 16 runs has gone in this over with a no ball and a free hit coming up.
Asad Ali moved in to bowl to Finley. Just a slow delivery. Take some pace off that. Finley was looking to dab it down towards the point gully region. Didn't make contact. It just went over the stumps. So it didn't do much there in terms of height. So might have caught Finley there a little flat-footed, so to speak. As he walks back to his mark. 2 for 25 from some 2.4 overs. 18.4 overs gone. Asad Ali is the man in operation from the Northern End Turns. Finley guiding the way now behind point. Looks like Griffin comes across, picks up. And Finley gets 1 more. So 1 more to the total. Total goes on to 122. Finley goes up to 34 from some 18 deliveries. Fidel Edwards is on 7 from 7. And Fidel Edwards is going about his business like if to say, I have all day. He's just taking his time going back to his wicket.
So Asad Ali gone for 17. This is a very good over for the Cavaliers.
So Fidel Edwards taking his mark again. Want to make sure he has it right. Don't want to say, well, if I had known. The if factor doesn't matter after the fact. Here's Ali to Edwards. That one goes between him and the bat. Down towards into the leg side. The over comes to an end. The end of the over, the end of 19 overs. The Somerset Cavaliers, they're 122 for the loss of 8 wickets. Fidel Edwards, he's on 7. Sean Finley is on 34. That is the latest score here at the Broward County Stadium. So one more over left, and instructions being carried out into the middle, along with some refreshment. And it's going to be Jesse who is going to bowl the final over number 20 from the southern end. So let's see what Jesse will do in this final over. 122 for 8, 2 for 26, Asad Ali. As he begins to move in now, on his way now to bowl to the left-hander Finley. And Finley's on driving out towards long on over the fence. This will go for 6. There's no question about that. That's a big lick from the man out of Jamaica. The tall man has lots of power. Just hit that out of the park effortlessly, Lenny.
Yeah, Sean Finley has risen to the occasion. A man who we saw on the bench a couple of times in the series, but he's really come to the party today. And look at that. Could this be a match-winning 40? We'll never know. 128 on the board with 5 balls remaining.
Tell you one thing, it's the last over, and he's going to swing for the fences. He's going to swing at everything. Let's see. Oh, that one is slashed away down towards deep cover. Some protection down there. They thought about coming back for the second. Finley was some 3/4 way up the track, but Fidel Edwards' back was turned. He was pretty much ball watching, and the batsman was able to complete just a single. So 129 it is for the loss of 8. Sean Finley goes to 41. Fidel Edwards is on 7. Jesse must be disappointed so far.
Well, Eddie, up until this point, he was bowling extremely well to the right-hander. He was aiming to 5th and 6th stump, just outside off, with a bit of carry, but left-hander, probably he would have had to change the line, which resulted in a 6.
Yes, indeed. So on his way down to bowl to Edwards. Edwards is giving himself room to slap it into cover. They're gone for 1. The return comes in at the non-striker's end, and he missed it.
So important single here. Not only keeps the scoreboard ticking by 1, gets Fidel off strike, and brings Sean Finley on 41.
Takes the total to 130 for 8. And Fidel Edwards pretty much playing the supporting role.
So 3 balls remaining here for Jesse Singh and the inning. And Jesse Singh is he's bowling at 1 for 16. He's bowled well.
3.3. Beaten outside the line of the off stump is Finley.
Yeah, slower ball that kept a little bit low. That's what you wanted to do. We've seen in modern day T20 cricket, Eddie Edwards, the importance of taking pace off the ball. It messes with the batsman timing. And that's a classic example. Finley probably looking to go big and expecting a quicker delivery. Jesse Singh has smartly bowled a dot ball, the first one in the over.
So 2 more legal deliveries left. 19.4. Overs going to 130 for 8. The Somerset Cavaliers. Jesse steams in. Again is beaten outside the line of the awesome, but the batsman gone for what should be a bye.
Would you have run here?
Oh, most definitely. Every run counts in this situation here. So 1 more to the total.
So Fidel Edwards will face the last ball if it's not a no ball. And if it's not a wide.
So let's see what happens.
So 131. We've seen 9 runs in this over so far. Edwards is on 8.
Taking his time too. Doesn't seem like he's in any hurry.
He struck a 4 already. And now the final ball. But Eddie, you've got to say Somerset Cavaliers has come back with a respectable score. having been at one stage at 7 for 78.
Yes, indeed. So one bounce down towards short, backward of square. So the innings come to a close, 132 for 8, which means that they will have to score. The 22-yard Sultan have to score 133 for victory. Sean Finley remains not out on 41 from 22 deliveries. Fidel Edwards not out on 9 from 10 delivery. The latest score here, Somerset Cavaliers 132 for 8.
Yes, Edward, this is a good comeback. You look at the scorecard there. The middle was a little bit brittle, but Sean Finley has stitched a good innings together, 41. And that's the depth of the Cavaliers batting 132 for 8. They hold on. Very important score towards the end. And the extras 7 here for 22 yards. So 132 for 8.
Yes, indeed. The only big score of any substance came from Kennar Lewis and Sean Finley.
So all the bowlers has come to the party here today. 3 bowlers picking up a couple of wickets. Devendra Bishu 2, Asad Ali 2, and Ashmed Ned, he picked up a couple of wickets. Their catching was a bit sloppy towards the start, but then towards the end got really good. And so they will need 133 from 120 balls to advance to the all-important championship game coming up tomorrow. So viewers, please stay tuned with us. The next game coming up is the Atlanta Paramveers. They take on the US All-Stars, but we still have one inning to go here, as 22 yards will need 133 to get into the US Open 2020 final.
So welcome back to the Central Broad Regional Park. Eddie Edwards along with the most talented commentator out of Guyana, my friend Lenny Archibald. We're about to witness the wind chase of the 22-yard Sultan CC, and we're now seeing the umpire is waving to the scorers, indicating that he is ready and the scorers are ready. And Lenny, are we going to be in for a dandy with the run chase?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So 133 needed from 120 balls. Trevon Griffith will be the man on strike. Fidel Edwards, who has played at the highest level, and we saw him bowl impressively the other night, will be the man to start here for Somerset Cavaliers. So it's going to be a cracker of a game as we're into the first semi-final here between 22 yards and Somerset Cavaliers.
So the two batters are Trevon Griffin and Ahad Malik, and it's going to be Trevon Griffith who is going to face the bowling or the onslaught, one would say, of Fidel Edwards, who is going to be in operation from the commentary box end. And the sun has left us just a tad, momentarily, so to speak, at the Central Broad Regional Park, as we watch now as Fidel begins to move in from the commentary box end to bowl to Trevon Griffin. This one is turned down towards the wide mid-wicket region. Finley's down there. He picks up, but cannot prevent the batsman from getting a single. And right away there, Lenny, they open the account for the 22 yards Sultan.
Yeah, good swing here from Fidel Edwards. He's going to be a key man. But just reflecting back to what has happened here towards the end against 22 yards, they probably would have given up 50 runs at the point when they had the team, 77 for 8 or something like that. So that right. 50 runs is going to be a very deciding factor here.
Fidel Edwards on his way out to bowl to Malik. Down towards third man. Seems comes off the boundary and rifles the return in. So both batters are off the mark. They're 2 without loss.
So both Malik and Trevon Griffith has been the backbone of the 22 yards in this series. And let's look what they have done. So Malik, he got a 21, he got a 15, and he got a 7. So not much there, his highest being 21. Griffith, on the other hand, has posted a 50 already in the tournament, but 2 other low scores. So they will have to batter their brilliance here today.
Drive back past the bowler. This will run away for 4. Shaw is giving chase, but he's going to have to abandon the chase. And he has done that early, realizing that he wouldn't not have caught up to that ball. It was going at a rapid pace off the bat of Trevin Griffin. And it is 6 without loss. The 22-yard Sultan.
Yeah, that's a good-looking shot from the attractive left-hander, Trevon Griffith. He's a class player. And 22 yards will need a good start from Trevon. Sometimes he gets a little bit careless, but otherwise than that, he's a quality player.
This delivery now is looking to turn it into the onside. Just played right in front of him. It came off the upper portion of the body.
So Trevon Griffith would have represented the West Indies under 19 at one point, 2010. And would have played against the like of, would play on the same team with the likes of Jermaine Blackwood, Craig Brathwaite, batsman John Campbell, Shane Dowridge, Jason Holder, the West Indies captain, and also Evan Lewis. All these players would have gone on to play at the international level. Popular players out of the West Indies.
So one would probably say that Trevin Griffith is unlucky not to have made the big team. But perhaps he will win one of these days. As we watch as Fidel Edwards teams in to bowl to Griffin. Griffin gets a delivery, shoulder and arms, and watch it goes by to wicketkeeper Kennard Lewis, so and that's a that ball.
Yeah, Trevon Griffith, he's a quality player. He's come up here against Fidel Edwards, and Fidel Edwards will be a man to play a key role here, along with Najaf Shaw, Navin Stewart. They have gone into this game without Gudakesh Moti, and we could see the likes of Chandrapal Hemraj bowling slow left arm spin, Asad Gauss the off spinner, and so that could complement the bowling attack here for Somerset Cavaliers.
I'm pretty much sure it's one of an impressive pedigree. Edwards to Griffin, played out into the cover region, short cover, gets the fielder to come and prevent him from getting a single. Fielder was very quickly onto it. The over comes to an end, and at the end of the first over, the 22-yard Sultan chasing 133 for victory. They are 6 without loss. Griffin is on 5. Malik is yet to score. That's the latest score here from the Central Broward Regional Park. So we're going to just have to watch and see who is going to bowl from the northern end. Fielder has bowled 1 over, no maiden, none for 6. So we just have to wait until the name of the ball has been put up on the screen.
So Andre Russell, couple big names headlining this year's event, along with Chris Gale, and so I'm pretty sure he's another man that could factor in here. Complete all-rounder Andre Russell seemed to be suggesting to the leadership here. If I can read action, let's bowl spin, trying to show that spin may work here.
Yes, and he was out there, so he knows exactly what he is imploring the captain to do. So it looks like Gauss just wanted to turn into the onside.
So Asad Gauss, the off spinner, comes into the attack from the top end of the ground. So he, along with Fidel Edwards, have started here. Malik, the man on strike.
So moving away, giving himself room, slapped it out towards long off. Finley's there, but he fumbled, and that fumble caused the batter to amble for a quick single.
So 50 plus runs towards the end,
and that can come back to hurt you.
Against 22 yards, have made sure that Cavaliers have posted 132.
Trevin Griffith into strike. Push it out into the offside. No run.
So Trevon Griffith this season, as we made mention, his highest score, he got a 50, and then he got a 11, he got a 6. He will need to be among the runs
if they're going to be in fact. This one is swept away down towards the fine leg region, comes across and knocks it down, and the batsman ambles through once more for a single. So very slow going here. and it is early days yet. They're looking to score 133.
Yeah,
So
they required as of now 6.8, and they're going just under 5 runs and over. We've seen a tidy start here from Assad Gauss. He's played at the US on the 19 and senior level. He's a top quality spinner, and this could work effectively against left-handers, as this one is struck well by Malik, and it goes one bounce out to long off, crosses the rope, and that's a good looking shot from Malik.
Malik comes join the party, and he is not holding back. He's saying, listen, I'm inside of I'm in the building, the music are playing, I'm going to dance, and I'm going to dance well. He goes to 6, 12 it is without loss. So after a little bit of conference, the batters walk back to their respective creases. So it's going to be let's see who this bowler. It's going to be the continuation of Fidel Edwards. Fidel Edwards is a short man, so I have to be looking over the side screen to make sure it is Fidel. And he will be bowling to Trevon Griffith. That one is flicked away behind square into the boundary board for 4. A delivery pitched outside the line of the off thumb. Strain, I would say, and it get the treatment it deserve.
Yeah, leg stump that is. Through the square leg area. Lovely shot. That ball that was swinging in from leg, and the talent of Trevon Griffith coming to the fore. He's up against a top-class competitor, Fidel Edwards. There are many who thinks that Fidel Edwards could still be playing international cricket for the West Indies, but that aside, he's a quality bowler over the years, Fidel Edwards.
16 it is without loss. Here's Fidel Edwards on his way out to bowl to Griffin. Griffin gets a little bit pushed out into the mid-off region, gets a single. And from the moment the ball left the bat, the connection between both batters were right on target.
So Trevon Griffith has been part of the CPL circuit over the years. A brief stint with the Guyana Amazon Warriors, and then later on would have gone with the Jamaica Tallawahs in the later years. A man who plies his trade in the United States. We've seen him in minor league cricket this year, representing the New York franchise, the Empire State Titans, and he, along with the likes of Gajan and Singh, would have been part of the crew there.
That's another man that is missing. Here is Edwards on his way out to bowl to Malik, and pulling it down towards short mid wicket. Couldn't get it past the man there in Russell. So it's a dot ball. The total remains on 17.
So Malik's highest score this season in the US Open has been 21. He scored that against the powerful Atlanta Paramveers, who's playing next. They have an engagement with the US All-Stars, the other semi-final.
So Fidel Edwards continue with the ball to Malik. On top of his out, pushed out into the offside. And the batsman can get no runs.
So Ahadullah Malik, the man out with Trevon Griffith out in the middle. And 22 yards Sultan. They've played a good game today, and towards the end they played a very good game up until probably the 16th over. But we saw big innings from
Sean Finley.
Sean Finley. Certainly could make the difference today. We don't know. We're watching this game, and things will unfold in probably the next 10, 15 overs.
You never know. Well, if it's going to unfold, it's going to unfold either way. I can tell you that. It's either going to be the Sultan 22-yard Sultan, or it's going to be the Somerset Cavaliers. Who really knows? Well, someone is walking across or standing in front of the batter, behind the bowler's arm rather. And that, of course, we have seen that on a number of occasions. Hold up proceedings as well.
Oh, cut away over the offside, and this one will run away for a 1-bounce 4 off the bat of Malik. And that's a good looking shot, short and giving a lot of width. And that's a good little shot from Malik.
And Malik was like he dances ballet. He was up on 1 foot and just slapped it over the cover region down towards the boundary for 4.
So the umpires are Mangesh Rana, who comes out of the Boston area. And our good friend Jermaine Lindo, he comes from the state of Georgia. And
Via Jamaica.
As in the case of Jermaine Lindo, he would have already done 3-1 international right here on this ground, would have made his debut last year. There's a bit of hold up here as could be some interference behind the bowler's arm.
Yes, indeed, out of our view. Yes, in the hallway, just to the left of the where the players are seated. Now they're moving the side screen to the right of us here, and Malik is signaling now that it is okay, but the sun has gone the way left us, so there are no signs of any dark clouds hovering overhead. That one coming off the portion of the bat is it. We'll have to wait and see. There was a loud appeal there from Fidel. That's a leg by. So the signal comes in now from the umpire, and Fidel Edwards is not a happy camper, Lenny.
Well, it's 22 without loss, and I'm pretty sure in years to come we could have a review referral system, and I'm pretty sure a shout like that, Fidel would have consulted with the captain. They probably would have checked in with the wicketkeeper and then go upstairs to have a look. If you think it's confident enough, and then you never know where that will go. We've seen in international cricket our referral system work. Sometimes we think it's out. We think it's out, and the system shows something different. And sometimes we think that is not out, and the system really shows up some deficiency in the umpiring decision. So 22 without loss.
It worked both ways.
Yeah, 22 without loss. Very similar to 22 yards. They need 111 from 102 ball. Asking rate 6.5. They're going at 7.3.
So they're pretty much in the driver's seat, so to speak. They will have to continue if they really want to win this game. But I'm sure that the Somerset Cavaliers, Najaf, and the rest of the crew has different idea. It's going to be Najaf who is going to pick up the attack from the northern end. He's not going to stick around to wait to see if anything is going to happen. He's going to be the man that's going to make something happen, hopefully.
Well, Najaf Shaw is probably one of the tallest cricketer of all the squads. He stands over 6 feet. A man who has played at the international level, having briefly represented Pakistan national team. And he comes in here with a wealth of experience. And in fact, he's been at the leadership of the Somerset Cavaliers for some 3 trips to the US Open. In fact, make that 4. This is his 4th trip.
And his way to bowl to Malik. Malik is slashing down towards cover. The return comes. It's going to be out here. Oh my goodness. He gets stranded in the middle between him and Griffin. Yes, no, yes, no. And Malik took off. Griffin pretty much turned his back on him. And in the end, the return came in at the striker's end. And guess what happened, Lenny?
Yeah, big mix-up. Malik just pushing the ball to cover. No response, or certainly not a positive response from Trevon Griffith. And in the end, Malik left stranded. He was charging down the 22 yards. And even if when he saw Trevon Griffith was not responding, by the time he turned and swiveled, the throw came into a confident Kenar Lewis. And 22 yards of lost one there, 22 for 1 as the new batsman walks to the middle. Andre McCarthy.
So McCarthy, the little man out of Jamaica.
And Eddie Edwards, before we go on, want to say special good afternoon to our media coordinator remotely. Want to say special good evening to Vinod Mamchan, and also want to say special good evening to Shaw Faisal out of Atlanta. I know these gentlemen were supposed to be here. We missed you, and I know, as in the case of Shaw Faisal, a man who has done international commentary stint with radio and certainly with television. in Pakistan. And so, guys, we really miss you guys, but we're trying to still
the
move
storm is
on.
what?
Yeah, move on with the loss of you two guys. And so we want to say a special good evening to wherever you are watching the feed.
And I certainly echo those same sentiments as Lenny. So the over, it is 3.1 over. Shah causing some disruption with his first delivery. Even though he didn't actually get a wicket, he causes the wicket to fall. And that of the hard-hitting Malik, he goes back, run out. And that's the route you really don't want to go. 22 it is to 1. So McCarthy comes to the crease. And I'm pretty much sure the little man out of Jamaica have a lot of pressure on his shoulders now. It's going to be him and Trevor Griffith, who is going to rally and perhaps rebuild the partnership.
So a bit of hold up around the side screen area. We do see the coordinator of the tournament coordinator, Danny Khan, is engaged. And we will never know what's going out in the middle. But there seems to be a slight bit of hold up here around the side screen area.
So Najaf Shah is coming down now. It's a semi-final game. The winner is going to get into the final, and it is Ansi out there.
Well, let's see if we can pick up what is happening here. Najaf Shah seems to be calling his boys. Let's get on with it. I'm not too sure what's happening down at the fine leg area. Assuming that the ball is bowling from that end, which Najaf Shah has started. And they have picked up a run out here. We see Malik, the supposedly dismissed batsman, still waiting inside of the playing area. So
He's still on the field of play.
Not too sure how to interpret that, but
it's all happening here. And you're witnessing on the telly as much as we are witnessing it live and direct from the Central Broad Regional Park. So Malik is still on the field of play. I can tell you that. And Jesse's asking him now to come off the field of play, but he's not even paying Jesse any mind. So whatever the situation is, Lenny.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break until cricket resumes.
So Najaf Shah will be bowling to Andrew McCarthy. Settles into his stance now with the arrival of Najaf Shah.
So play has resumed here. Najaf Shah to McCarthy. They're batting at 22 for 1. So play has resumed. A little bit of a hold up side screen issue.
Indeed.
And so we're back with cricket.
Lovely cricket at the US Open, the 12th year of the competition, the 2020 version.
So McCarthy, he has played at the Jamaican first class level. He's played briefly at the CPL level.
Yes, indeed he has.
And we'll need to get some runs here. He's been short of getting a good score. So far he's only picked up 6 and 10 in 2 games. So he'll be required to really play a big hand here today. Still a long way to go. 111 to win from 99 balls.
So Najaf to McCarthy, gets a lift in delivery, might have taken the shoulder of the bat and find its way out towards the point region. A delivery that surprised the young man. Now he comes down the track doing a little bit of gardening. So he comes in at a very crucial and delicate situation. They say by nature the young man is a stroke player. And let's see what he's capable of doing as he is about to face the bowling of Najaf Shah.
So Najaf Shah has very good history here at the US Open. Started his US Open career in 2016. Came in with the US All-Stars and got into the final that year. a final in which US All-Stars won. Najaf Shah wasn't the captain then. The captain was Hassan Raza out of Pakistan. They tell us one of the youngest players to have played Test cricket at about 15 years old. And so Hassan Raza was the captain then. But in 2017, he led the Somerset Cavaliers to the championship victory, when they got the better of US All-Stars. So that's 2 years he's been here. And then, of course, in 2018, led the Somerset Cavaliers as a runner-up position as they lost to California Bears in 2018. And then last year, under his leadership, Somerset Cavaliers defeating the Atlanta Fire in 2019. So he has had good leadership success over the years. And in fact, with 2 wins so far for the Somerset Cavaliers, he equals up with the likes of Steve Messiah and Shazam Babwa, 2 of the most successful captain in the US Cricket Open.
Yes, indeed. And I certainly was here for quite a number of those championship games.
So
Stephen Messiah was one of the better captains to have led the Tigers. So Andre Russell is going to come into the attack, and he will be bowling to Chevin Griffith from the commentary box end. Let's see what happens.
In fact, Eddie Edwards, a little bit of correction. Messiah would have won 3 times as captain with 3 different teams, as Russell down the leg side, swung away by Trevon Griffith. He picks up a boundary, it's 26 for 1.
Loose delivery there from Andre Russell, just loosen up. But it was a delivery that pitched down the leg side, and Chevin Griffith not only giving it the treatment it deserved, he really tugged it around the corner down towards the boundary for 4.
So let's put that into proper perspective. Messiah wins 3 titles as captain with 3 different teams, which was quite an accomplishment. He won the inaugural US Open in 2009 with Washington Tigers, and then he won with United Chargers the following year, a team out of New York, Ralph Tomation Company. And then, of course, he won with Smart Choice later on.
Yes, indeed. I was here for that as well.
So Messiah as leader, as captain, have won 3 championships. And Najaf Shah looking for to equal up with Steve Messiah, having won with the Somerset Cavaliers 2 years in 2017 and then in 2019. He's 2 matches away with wins if he can do that here this afternoon, in fact this weekend.
And that would be a great accomplishment for Najaf Shah. So Chevin Griffith is on 16, 27 for 1. McCarthy is on, he has yet to open his account. And he's at the strikers end, waiting the arrival of Andre Russell.
Yeah, McCarthy has struggled for runs in this series, only 6 and 10 in 2 games. Oh, pulled through the onside, could pick up a couple of runs there. Fielder is coming around. Aaron Jones is the fielder. And so good looking shot from Andrew McCarthy. He's a talented stroke player.
Yes, he is.
But he will have to prove that he is really a quality batsman, having played first class cricket out of Jamaica and a brief couple of games at his CPL level. So he's facing up to his countryman, Andre Russell, and they would have played quite a few games with the Jamaican national team, and certainly with Jamaica Talawas.
Somebody would want to have the bragging rights. Is it going to be Russell or is it going to be Andre McCarthy? Who knows? Chevin Griffin is at the non-strikers end. He's on 16. McCarthy, as I said early on, is yet to score. They're looking to score 132 for victory. They are 28 for 1. Russell's team's in. Guiding the way down towards third man. Batsman completes a single.
So they're going at 6.2 at the moment. Required rate is 6.8. And so it's 30 for 1 in the 5th over, being bowled here by Andre Russell, one of the world's best, whether bowling or batting.
Very feared cricketer in the world. So Najaf Shah just tosses the ball to Russell. And he's went out to bowl to Griffith. And Griffith is bowling.
So dragged on Trevon Griffith. An inside edge into the leg stump. And so the second wicket goes down. Trevon Griffith gone. It's 30 for 2. Andre Russell comes up with a very important strike. And it's 30 for 2.
He was looking to pull it down towards the backward of square, and the ball just came off the bat and Cannon's into the stumps. So Griffin goes for 16, bowled by Russell. So after, I'll be taking my leave when the 5th over comes a call. So it's 29 for 2, 4.5 overs gone. McCarthy's on 2. So the target is 133. And the current run rate is some 6.0. The required run rate is 6.9. So Russell striking his first over so far. So he's 1 for 7. So the new batsman is Shafin Rutherford, the West Indian player, and also Guyana's representative. Comes to the crease with lots of experience, interesting pedigree to his name, and he'll be facing Andre Russell. So 4.5 overs gone. So Russell polishing the ball in his trousers, the back portion of it. So really very unlucky there for Trevor Griffith.
Yeah, the scorecard will read bold Andre Russell, and those who haven't seen it will never know what happened, but we've seen a drag on quite a bit. It's part of the game, and it's one of those unlucky shots. It's a French cut but rolls into the stumps. Here is Andre Russell
to bowl to Rutherford. Rutherford gets a nasty delivery. That one might have came off the elbow. Let's see. It finds its way down towards the point region, the backward of square region, sorry. And Russell there now looking at the action as Rutherford gets a nasty one there, Lenny. So the over comes to an end. At the end of the over, they're 30 for a loss of 2, chasing 133 for victory. They're 22 yards, Sultan.
So thank you, Eddie. 30 for 2. We've seen the first 5 over block completed here. I'm joining the box with Prahalad Madabushi, very similar to Mitsubishi, and he comes from the Tampa Premier League. Welcome to the Combox, Prahalad. Welcome to the semi-final, 22 yards and Somerset Cavaliers. Nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and the game is actually evenly poised. 30 for 2 after 5, and Najaf bowling now. So both Najaf and Russell in the last 2 overs, they had a good start, 22 yards Sultan, but in the last 2 overs we had 2 dismissals, one a run out and another one is a bowl. So now it's poised right. Now for 22 yards Sultan, their goal should be to keep the wickets and just keep the scoreboard moving. It's just 6.5 runs over, 7 runs an over, so they don't need to take risks. Well bowled. Another dot ball, but at the moment for 22 yards Sultan, they should just, even if they play out a over or 2, they should actually keep their wickets until the 14th or 15th over. And in the last 5 overs, even if you need 40 runs, if you have 6 or 7 wickets in hand, that's gettable, but they shouldn't lose any more wickets. Again outside the off stump, beaten, well bowled by Najaf. He's bowling a good spell here. He hasn't given a run yet, and he's in his 2nd over.
Yeah, 3 dot balls to the left-hander, Sharfin Rutherford, a man who was really taken off, so to speak, a couple of franchise engagements around the world, starting with his home region, the CPL, and then having been with the Mumbai Indians team this year, the successful Mumbai Indians, probably one of the most successful franchise cricket team on the planet. And we've seen some quality bowling from Najaf Shah. Look at that ball beating the outside edge, going through to the keeper. So we've seen 4 dot balls. Najaf Shah, very tall man, gets the ball to move, gets the ball to bounce. And with the experience that he's played at the international level, he has certainly bring that in to the field here today.
What they're doing is trying to cram the batsman for the next 2 or 3 overs and pressurize them. So the captain has put himself on after 3 overs when they got a good start, and in first over resulted in a run out, and this is his second over and 4 dot balls in a row. This is a good spell by Najaf.
So Rutherford
Just a single.
picks up a single, takes the score up to 32, and we are in the 6th over. Najaf Shah, as we made mention, would have led Somerset Cavaliers pretty well over the last 3 years, winning 2 titles and losing in the final. So that alone tells you that his leadership success rate has really been quite impressive. And he comes back here, and you never know, they'll need to win this one and the final for him to really move on again as the leader of the Somerset Cavaliers team. He's led well. So McCarthy, who is in charge of who is short of runs, we see the required rate creeping up slightly. Current run rate going at just over 5. They require 7.2. And so
That's another dot ball.
Quality ball that completes over number 6, and after 6 is 32 for 2.
Yeah, what they have done is in the last 3 overs they got a couple of wickets and tried to cram them at the crease. So they, I think, only gave like 8 or 9 runs in the last 3 overs. So 22 yards, Sultan needs to sit down and regroup and plan their strategy. Wonderful Florida weather out there.
So Andre Russell will continue. His last over was quite a success. He picked up the wicket of Trevon Griffith, and Trevon Griffith getting a ball outside the off stump that was dragged on, struck the leg stump, and Andre Russell successful again. He's been at the top of his game over the years at the international level, and he's in here as one of 2 marquee players in the US Open 2020, the other being Chris Gale, the universe boss, whom we will see a little bit later on as Atlanta Paramveers will come up against the US All-Stars. So Rutherford, he's had some tidy stuff thrown at him. We've seen a quality over in the previous one from Najaf Shah, and already Andre Russell has bowled him a very good ball, a ball that seemed to have reared from a very short length. We're using pitch number 3 today, and if you look on the square there, this pitch is being used for the first time in the series, and to the left of your screen we used that one for the start and for the first 4 days, and so far it has behaved creditably well. Another good ball, good bowling here.
Yeah, Russell is a seasoned veteran and he knows how to exploit the conditions. So he's getting the ball to rise and he is not giving him much room or width to go for his shots. And it looks like Sherfane Rutherford, he's kind of in a fix now because he played a lot of dot balls so far, and 3 or 4 dot balls last over with Najaf and a couple of them here.
So the way the things have gone here, we're beginning to see a very slow phase there for the 22 yards. And runs have certainly dried up here for 22 yards. Another quality delivery, dabbed away towards the offside. Rutherford turns the strike over to Andre McCarthy. And both batsmen would want to repair a bit of damage. The first wicket fell at 22 and the second one fell at 30. And while they would have gone quickly up to 22 and even the figure of 30, we've seen quite a bit to get 3 runs here. So Andrew McCarthy and Sherfin Rutherford, in addition to really not losing another wicket, this is a T20 game, so they'll have to keep their eye on the required rate, which is very important.
Yeah, they have to be careful here. A quick throw, they try to take a quick run and a direct hit to the stumps, and they appeal for a run out, but looks like the batsman made in. What 20 yards Sultan, we are seeing here is that they have to be careful with.
So Andrew Russell, the bowler, is bowled well. He's kept it to only a single in the over so far, and with 4 deliveries, and he comes in again to bowl to Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah, another single here, and what they have to be careful here is they don't want to lose wickets, but at the same time they don't want to be at the 10th over with a total of 42 or 45, because then you're talking about getting 90 in the last 10, and that would, even though you have wickets, that would still be difficult. So they have to keep the scoreboard ticking without losing wickets. So they have to strategize that way.
So Russell has bowled some 11 balls. He's bowling at 1 for 10. Rutherford gets a ball. He's ducking under. That could complete over number 7. 7 gone, 34 for 2.
Yeah, that was a good bouncer by Russell. Now I think he got set and he's exploiting the bounce on the wicket. 7 overs, 33 for 2. 22 yards. Sultan need to. The players on the pitch seem to be discussing as to how to move forward, but they should start rotating the scoreboard if they want to make a match out of this. At the moment it looks like 22 yards Sultan had a good start, but Somerset Cavaliers bowled really well, 4 good overs, and they pulled the game back, and now you can say that there is a slight advantage to Somerset Cavaliers. And Najaf looks like he's going to continue and going to come back for his 3rd over.
So partnership of 4, just how tight the bowling has been. A partnership of 4, it has taken 13 balls to get to 4. And so the bowling has been on top. Najaf Shah, he's been quite miserly. Najaf has bowled 2 overs so far, 1 maiden, and he's only given up a single run. So very impressive bowling from the captain, who has had a very successful run as a player and also as a leader for the Somerset Cavaliers team. Have led the Somerset Cavaliers team 3 times into the final. He has won 2, he have lost 1, and would have been part of the US All-Stars team that defeated the Al Masafi team out of Afghanistan in 2016. The team back then was captained by Hassan Raza. Hassan Raza, if you know your cricket history pretty well, would probably be one of the youngest player to have played Test cricket, just about the age of 15. And so he was here the same year that Shoaib Akhtar made a visit to the US Open. So 22 yards. They had Somerset Cavaliers in the 15th over. 79 for 7 in the end. Oh, lovely shot from Sherfin Rutherford. So the jinx of a lot of dot balls and singles comes to an end. Sherfin Rutherford goes for a maximum over the mid-wicket area. And a big shot, a release shot for Sherfin Rutherford, and certainly 22 yards.
That was a wonderful shot. That should relieve the pressure to a certain extent of all those dot balls as 6. And that should relieve the pressure of Sherfin Rutherford as well. And hopefully this will get him going. And he can start playing more shots.
So a good looking shot from Sherfin Rutherford. First 6 of the innings.
Now that was a sensible run. He didn't go for another one the next delivery. He just took a single.
So Somerset Cavaliers are the defending champ. They won last year from the Atlanta Fire. We're seeing another Atlanta franchise in the tournament this year, the Atlanta Paramveers. Headlined by, of course, Chris Gale, led by Riyad Emirates. On a side that includes the likes of Damian Ebanks, Akil Hussein, Kari Pierre. And so we'll have to wait and see how they shape up against US All-Stars, another power pack team.
That was a good delivery. What Somerset has got it going for it is that they have been here 4 years in a row, and they are very experienced. They have been in this place. They have been in semis and finals multiple times, and so experience counts when you play big games like this.
So wonderful weather here in Lauderhill at Central Broward Stadium, a stadium that has hosted on several occasions T20 International. The Indians were here, Bangladesh has played here, New Zealand has played here, with the West Indies host nation has hosted team here, and not forgetting Sri Lanka in the early days.
Right.
A park that was opened in 2007, and not only has held international T20 matches, but certainly would have hosted a lot of List A matches, junior cricket, women's cricket on the 19 matches, and of course not forgetting the locals who play around this area, and of course the maybe the top of the list, they have played host to the US Open for 12 years and running
in a row. Yeah, it's one of the best stadiums in United States, with great weather and a great ground. You can say that it's probably number one ground in the nation as far as hosting international cricket is concerned.
So ball whipped into the offside. That will complete over number 8, and after 8 is 44 for 2.
Yeah, they had a good over, 22 yards Sultan this over. They got 9 runs in this over, so that was a good over for them to slowly climb back and start planning their chase. So the required run rate now is 7.5, but they cannot afford to lose any more wickets. And as far as Somerset Cavaliers are concerned, their priority would be to take a quick wicket here or two would really peg them back. So far, the last couple of bowling changes, each one of them resulted in a wicket. Najaf had a wicket and Andrew Russell had a wicket, and let's hope Naveen Stewart can get a wicket as well.
So Navin Stewart given the ball. Top player, top all-rounder, and they tell us when he doesn't get among the runs, he gets among the wickets. Something happens when Navin Stewart comes into the attack. We saw the other night, he took a brilliant catch, got a couple of wickets, consecutive wickets. He was on a hat-trick at one point. Took the wicket of Zishan Ashraf, a magnificent catch from Gudakesh Moti. And then he got the wicket of Rizwan Chima. Not easy to get Rizwan Chima first ball. So he comes into the attack, and we'll have to wait and see if he comes up with a golden arm. And that would be if he can get a break in partnership. Not a big partnership at the moment, but they'll still be looking to have some more inroads into 22 yards. 43 for 2.
Naveen will be bowling to set Sharfain Rutherford. A good full delivery, tapped on to the long off for a single. Yeah, so they're changing their field for the left and right combination. So let's see what Naveen can do when he bowls to Andre McCarthy. They have a short square leg now, and they have a long on. That's a good delivery, just tapped on. for a single. So it looks like they are going to rotate the strike and not take any chances. That seems to be the strategy that they're employing. They're just tapping into the gaps and taking a single. As the field has been spread out now.
So Navin Stewart. Oh, pulled
That's a
away
good
short and pulled away over the backward square area. And it goes away for another fantasy maximum. And that's a good looking shot from Shorefane Rutherford. A poor delivery from Navin Stewart, not only lacking in line, but certainly lacking in length. And it's dispatched away from the Mumbai Indians player.
Yeah, Somerset have to be careful here. All the pressure that they have built up over a period of 4 overs and 2 wickets, you know, one bad over can release all of that. They already got 8 runs in this over.
So ball tucked into the onside. And they go through for a single now, out of concern here. McCarthy, you look on the scorecard, he's faced 14 balls, that's over 2 overs. And you see his production rate has only yielded 6 runs, so you will have to probably get going. It's not a massive asking rate at the moment, but we know our cricket pretty well. If you allow it to creep up, creep up on you, then it's gonna get difficult towards the end. Many who would have seen the first innings. Big appeal from the players here as
For an LBW.
Lewis, unbelievably. Can't believe what he's seen. In the meantime, a leg by has been signaled by umpire Mangesh Rana.
22-yard Sultan got 9 runs in this over so far. And they're having a good over. So 10 runs in this over. You know, a 6 and 4 singles. So Naveen has to finish strong, and he can't afford to give another boundary in this over. Again, played very sensibly, just tapped on the onside for a single. 11 runs in this over by Naveen Stewart. So 22-yard Sultan slowly creeping back into the game. At the end of 7 overs, they were 33 for 2, but now in the last 2 overs, they have gotten 19 runs and relieved the pressure a little bit. A couple more overs like this, and some more 22 yards will feel a lot more comfortable. What Somerset needs right now is a wicket, because they are not going to be able to defend the runs because it's a small target.
So Najaf Shah will take a relief, and it appears the left arm leg spinner Chandrapal Hemraj, who was bowled at his CPL level and has done quite a bit of bowling there, so he's certainly not a makeshift bowler, not a bowler that you could call a guest, but he has been part of the Guyana Amazon Warrior professional bowling lineup, and so he comes into the attack here with 79 needed from 66 balls. Still some ways to go. Required rate, it's a little bit more than the current run rate, and that is why the likes of McCarthy and Shorefane Rutherford will need to keep an eye on the required rate. So if you're just joining us, want to say welcome to the broadcast.
Chandrapal Hemraj, a good first delivery. It's a single. Andrew McCarthy, as my fellow commentator noted, has got 7 out of 15 balls, so it's time for him to get going, at least, you know, get a few more scoring strikes for him to catch up, because the run rate will soon catch up if they don't, you know, rotate the strike.
Well, McCarthy he's a better player than what we're seeing
Wide
outside the off stump. So he's a way better player that we're seeing in his returns here, having played at the first class level for Jamaica and having had a a couple of CPL matches with the Jamaica Talawa, so we know he can bat, but certainly he will need to up it slightly, as the required rate is gonna probably get away.
Pulled away for a single. The quality of bowling in the last 5-6 overs was quite good, and also for McCarthy, I think he was just trying to consolidate because there were 2 quick wickets and he didn't want another wicket to go, so that might have been his strategy.
So a couple of spinners here for the Somerset Cavaliers. We're seeing Hemraj, and we also saw Asad Gauss, the off spinner. Somerset Cavaliers have opted to go without Gudakesh Moti, a former under 19 West Indian player and a player who plies his trade with the Guyana first class team these days. Gudakesh Moti, a quality player, can strike the ball well, but he has been left out today. So runs coming by singles, nothing wrong with that. All they need is pretty much a run a ball, and of course the big overs, you never know, they always come in T20 cricket. So once they can keep the scoreboard ticking, 5, 6, 7 runs and over, they're well within reach.
Right. What we are seeing here is sensible cricket, where they're almost like scoring a run a ball. So, at the end of 10 overs, we are at 60 for 2, and what they need is 73 in the next 10. And if they can play the next 3 or 4 overs without losing wickets, I think they will be in good shape. On the contrary, on the other side, for Somerset, they would need a quick wicket or 2 here before the game slowly slips away.
So 60 for 2 at the end of 10, as you can see on your screen. Navin Stewart, first over, went for 10. Big 6 off the bat of Sharfin Rutherford. Still some ways to go. This match hangs in the balance. Who will be the first team to qualify for the final of the 2020 US Open? No one knows. 22 yards bowled well, and towards the end the game may have slipped away from them. Some 43 runs were scored in the last 5 over with 7 wickets down. And you're watching the reply. 60 on the board already. Leg by is a signal, as we welcome Bilal back into the box. 6-1 for 2, Bilal. Game hanging in the balance. It could go either way. Both teams are itching to get into the final 2, but we'll have to wait and see as things develop here. Oh, shot from Sharfin Rutherford through the offside over cover, and it goes away for 4. And that's a very good shot from the Mumbai Indians player.
Stewart in the slot, lifted it over through the cover region, and 4 runs added. It's valuable one, 65 for 2 now. And now Cavaliers, they're thinking wickets. And it's going well so far for the batting side, but still, required run rate is around 7, which is manageable.
Yeah, it's only 2 wickets that have fallen, so they haven't taken wickets, but they're bowling tidy. Only 2 wickets have fallen. We've seen Trevon Griffith, and Malik was run out, and as Navin Stewart, always something happens when he bowls, but so far we haven't seen any bit of the mystery and certainly any bit of the result, but you never know. He's into his 2nd over. And we have still a long way to go here, Bilal. You never know. Lots of twist and turn in the way things can unfold.
The target like 133. Nevin Stewart already conceded 16 runs, and he's into his 2nd over, 3 more balls to go. I don't think that is suiting the Cavaliers. But let's see if he can make a comeback.
So 67 needed from 57 balls. So that is what is really required of of 22 yards. And McCarthy, while he's used up some 20 balls for 11 runs, this could be his style. And this could be if he can pick up if they meaning Rutherford and McCarthy, once he can turn over the strike quickly in 6-7 runs and over, they are on course. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, poor delivery and hammered away over long leg. And a very important shot here for Sherfane Rutherford. He picks up another maximum number 3 from Sherfane Rutherford. A poor delivery from Navin Stewart. Runs here for 22 yards.
Rutherford, he's not going to miss out on that type of delivery. He's making up big time for what's happening with Andre McCarty, who scored 11 out of 20. But look at Rutherford's strike rate. It's big time, 34 out of 23. So he's making up for him. No pressure if he keeps on doing that, scoring boundaries.
So 13 in this over so far. Very expensive by Navin Stewart standard.
Only a dot ball, and I'm sure Navin Stewart must be happy about it. 23 runs conceded in 2 overs.
All right, we'll quickly run through the winners over the years of the U.S. Open. 2009 Washington Tigers, 2010 United Chargers, 11 and 12, 2011 and 12 Trinidad and Tobago, led by Shazam Babwa. 2013 Smart Choice by Steve Messiah. U.S. Tigers in 2014, led by Sunju Patel. In 2015, Rain was the winner. It was rained out. In 2016, U.S. All-Stars, led by Zishan Qureshi. In 2017, Somerset Cavaliers, winning in 2017. In fact, in 2016, Zishan Qureshi was the vice captain. Hassan Raza was the captain. In 2018, California Bears, led by Damian Ebanks, I think, or Sunil Narain. I can't recall who led the side then. Might have been Damian Ebanks. And in 2019, we've got Somerset Cavaliers. Najaf Shah has led almost 4 years in championship games. So he has had an amazing run at the U.S. Open as a leader. And not forgetting that, he's a bowler too.
Bowler who can make a big time impact. In this field, point, diving fielder, but when that is done, there is a sweeper down there to cut it out. Run ahead to Sultan's 34 for 2.
So 59 to win from 52. Just overrun a ball. Rutherford can turn the pressure on. And Rutherford, we know he can strike the ball and strike it well. He's regarded as a hard-hitting middle order batsman, somewhat of a finisher.
And he's proving it that way.
He spent a lot of times. He spent a lot of time on the bench with Mumbai Indians, but Mumbai Indians such a powerful outfit. You wouldn't be sort of disappointed that you've been on the bench for the Mumbai Indians team, probably one of the best franchise cricket team in the world, on the planet. And then later on would have stepped across to the PSL, having played for Karachi Kings, and would have been part of probably in company with probably one of the best batsmen in world cricket today, Babar Azam. Yeah, and Sharfin Rutherford Bilal would have been responsible for having Karachi Kings into the final as he smashed a super over win over one of the teams. Might have been Multan Sultan if I'm not mistaken. So he has had his moment of glory, and certainly that came with the Karachi Kings. 12 overs gone, 77 for 2.
Without any risk, they're able to score freely. And Cavaliers, they have to think or implement a different plan. We'll see if there's any bowling changes. Many wickets, because that's the only way you can contain score.
Assad Gauss.
I was talking to Dishu during his break, lifted for 2 back-to-back sixes, he was not worried about it because he was worried about taking wickets, and he got the big fish in the end.
So the off spinner, Asad Gauss, comes into the attack. He could be a very important ploy in the plot here against Sherfane Rutherford. We've seen the importance of having a spinner moving away from the batsman. And Sherfane Rutherford, he's batted well so far. He's posted 36. And the partnership is has gone up to 47. Very important runs here for 22 yards. Oh, pulled into the onside. Short ball hammered out of the playing area. And that's another 6 for the 22 yards team. He comes off the bat of Sherfane Rutherford and takes him into the 40. He's up to 42. A poor delivery from Asad Gauss and quickly pounced upon by the attacking Sherfane Rutherford.
He's not going to miss out on that. Short of the length. He was ready for it. His team needed it because they're into 13th over. They don't want to take it all the way deep into the 20th over. Because if they bat 20 overs and don't lose any more wickets, they'll win it outright.
So a good strike from Sherfane Rutherford. The battle continues between bat and ball. On that occasion, bat winning. And Asad Gauss, the off spinner. Required rate 6.3. They're going a 6.9, slightly ahead. Oh, that's another one. It's another one in the same direction. Similar play. And Sherfane Rutherford, a couple of sixes here. And what are we seeing from this man, Sherfane Rutherford? 90 for 2.
Is he crafting an upset here? Early exit for the defending champs, Cavaliers. He's taking the game away from them. Asad Gauss, not sure what he's thinking. In the slot, back-to-back sixes. And we can see 22 yards Sultan inching, getting closer to the victory. 90 for 2 back into the 13th over now.
So 43 needed from 46. We've seen 13 runs in this over so far in 3 balls. In fact, in 2 balls. And a no ball. So no ball off the bowling of Asad Gauss. And that free hit will come with Sherfane Rutherford looking to go big again out of the playing area.
Will be ready for it. He's at 48. He'll probably want to get to his 50 with a boundary. And the best thing about this, even if he takes a risk, if he gets caught, he will not be a not out because it's a free hit.
So 48 so far from Sherfane Rutherford. He has struck 5 maximum. Here we go, a free hit ball. Oh, he's hammered this one straight down the ground. Andre Russell takes the catch. Only a single. It's not an out. It's a free hit ball. And Andre McCarthy comes back into strike. So it's all happening here at the Broward Cricket Stadium. And a good comeback delivery from Asad Gauss.
Yes, saved by the fielder, Andre Russell. None other than Andre Russell caught. But I'm sure spectators must be wondering why it wasn't out because it was a free hit.
So 15 off this over so far. And so 41 to win from 45. McCarthy comes back onto strike. 62-run partnership. McCarthy is playing his hand pretty well now. And nothing wrong with the way McCarthy has batted, but was lagging behind. But once the big sixes came off from Sherfane Rutherford, it made up for Andre McCarthy's innings so far. He's batting on 14 off 25, but that doesn't matter because Sherfane Rutherford in the last 2 overs or so, we saw 4 sixes, so that has really helped. And the partnership continues to blossom here. He's gone up to 63, so very important run. And Gauss, this has not been a very good one for Asad Gauss and certainly Somerset Cavaliers. This over has gone for 16 so far. No ball.
No ball here. This is unfortunately for Cavaliers. This is the last thing that you expect from a spinner. Me being a spinner, Lenny, I know how mad my captain gets if I ball is no ball, especially in a semi-final.
So things have not gone well here for Somerset Cavaliers, and certainly by way of Assad Gauss. He's bowled 2 no balls in this over. McCarthy will be the man on strike, thankfully for him. But you never know, McCarthy will be going towards the ropes. Will be swinging towards the fence, I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen a player not going for one of the big shots in the free hit ball. So here we go.
Free hit. And he smacks it towards the mid-wicket boundary, but we have a protection out there. Only a single, 95, 96 for 2 after 13 overs. So one thing, Lenny, that we're closely monitoring the number of boundaries that have been scored in this tournament. Through yesterday, the batsmen, they have scored 141, they fours, 86 sixes in this tournament, 11 50s, and so far no centuries.
Yeah, the closest we saw is Aaron Jones. Fell 9 short of the first century in the park. So Andrew McCarthy remains on 15. And now the current run rate has distanced itself from the required run rate. 7.4 the current run rate. They need 5.3. Which in today's world of T20 cricket, that should be a walk in the park. But you never know what can happen as we see Fidel Edwards, the West Indies international, comes back into the attack. Let's see what he has done. He's gone none for 15 in 2, thereabout.
So he has to bring his A+ game now. This would be a make or break. The next few overs, if there are no wickets down, then it may be game over for Cavaliers. Went straight to the point, misfield, slight misfield, and one more run added to 22 yards so far.
So Rutherford comes back into strike. He's played a very good hand, still undefeated. He's up to 49. And this is going to be a very important 50 to the left-hander. And what are we going to have here? Can 22 yards storm into the final? Can they dethrone the strong and well put together Somerset Cavaliers, who have really enjoyed success since 2017? They've been a championship team here. It's all playing out in front of our viewers here today, and you're watching 22 yards Sultan, a well put together squad, and a squad that has really come up with a lot of Guyanese national players and some international stars, one of which is Sherfane Rutherford. He's batted impressively well. He's on 49, and it's going to be a very important 50 if he gets to it.
It's a good matchup here. Fidel Edwards versus Rutherford, and it was a great short ball. Great use of it. And Rutherford had no clue. I know he's got 50 on his mind. What else can you dream other than scoring a 50 in a semifinal game? Big game. You lift your game. And these are the moments that you wait for.
So 5 6s and 1 4. And what has happened, Bilal? Those 5 6s and that 4 has really made up for McCarthy. And a partnership of 67 between the pair. Could this do it for Sultan? Can Somerset Cavaliers snap up 1, 2? You never know what can happen. Wickets, they say, come in clusters. It's like the country bus. You wait half an hour for one, and then 3 shows up afterwards.
Absolutely. So went straight down. Third man, Andre Russell Fields. One more run added, and that's 50 for Rutherford. Much and very important 50. I think actually it couldn't be a better time than this one. So we'll see. 98 for 2 into the 14th over. Fidel Edward. Let's see what he can bring to the table. So the Cavaliers, they definitely need him. They need him to get some wickets, to get some dot balls, to put some pressure. And he's got McCarthy facing him. Yorker let delivery. They went down to the long on area. One more run added. So as you can see, Rutherford and McCarty, they are feeling comfortable out there, Lenny. Not a good sign for Cavaliers.
Yeah, 70-run partnership. I've seen the score 99 for 2. Very stable batting here from Rutherford and Andre McCarty. Both batsmen would have played at the first class level, as in the case of Sharfin Rutherford. He has gone on to play for a few franchises around the world, one of which, as we have made mention in our broadcast, the powerful Mumbai Indians and Karachi Kings, two of the top other franchise in the world, having represented his home country and certainly his home country franchise, the Guyana Amazon Warrior. As we see, 100 comes up here for 22 yards.
100 comes up, and we're into the 14th over. 6 more overs to go. Required run rate now 5.3 with 8 wickets in hand. What do you think, Lenny?
Well, at the moment, you've got to say that 22 yards does have a little bit out in front. Based on a partnership here that seems very difficult to dislodge. Cavaliers will need a wicket or two to really come back into this game. Whether or not they can defend 33 from 36 balls, we'll have to wait and see. But McCarty and Sharfin Rutherford is solidly planted at the moment. And what a contrasting style here from Sharfin Rutherford and Andrew McCarty. McCarty will tuck the ball around, and Sharfin Rutherford will definitely punish the bad balls. And you know your cricket pretty well, Bilal. Even the best in the world will give you 1 or 2 bad ones in between. And so Sharfin Rutherford has stamped his authority here this afternoon, and he's really piled on a good partnership. His personal score of 51 from 35 balls, and McCarty has supported well. While McCarty might have been on the slower side at some point, he hasn't lost his wicket, which makes a big difference.
Yeah, he's holding on to one end, because if you lose 1 or 2 quick wickets, that will put pressure on Rutherford as well. But we know one thing for sure: for Somerset Cavaliers, they need to get rid of Rutherford as soon as possible if they want to make a comeback in this game. Because right now they are feeling so comfortable, they can see the ball. They are, being sensible out there, not taking any chances, waiting for bad deliveries, to your point, Lenny.
So Navin Stewart has been brought back into the attack. None for 23 off 2. He's been relatively expensive today. He's gone for what? Almost 11.5 runs and over. Not typical of Navin Stewart, but that's how the game plays sometime. Couple of loose ball going down the leg side, wrong line. Was struck out of the park by Sharfin Rutherford, and he's really bowled better to Andre McCarty, but they still will have to see what happens here. So things are winding down, and I think the Somerset Cavaliers on the verge of being in danger of being knocked out of the tournament, but we'll wait and see. They have done well over the years. They've won it twice in 3 years, but they're in a little bit of danger here as 22 yards are beginning to move towards the tape quicker than Somerset Cavaliers.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, that there's one bad game due for Cavaliers, and it should not have come at this time and moment. But it's not over yet. It's not over until it's over. Never, as they say, Lenny, when the big game comes in, you have to lift the game. You should not take any pressure. But we have seen that, for some of the bowlers for Cavaliers, and also even the batsmen, they just, felt under pressure all the way. But still, there's time left. They can make a comeback. We'll see how things go for the next 5 to 6 overs.
Yeah, 22 yards. Have enjoyed a very good day. In fact, and you may have seen the game. We saw at one stage at the end of 15 over, they were batting a 79 for 7. Somerset Cavaliers. Many thought that they would never seen 130 plus, but that's how cricket is played. We saw fine innings from Sean Finley, who has been sidelined over the last couple of games, was on the bench, and so he got his big opportunity, Sean Finley, and really came up with a very good, important score. And what we're seeing in front of our eyes, we're seeing a good partnership being put together, string by McCarty and Sharfin Rutherford, some 73 runs partnership. And whether or not this will be able to take 22 yards home, we'll have to wait and see maybe in the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, so what do you think? I mean, should they bring Andre Russell or Najaf Shah back into attack to put some pressure? It seems like they're waiting for maybe towards end of the innings, which may well be too late. So we have Nevin Stewart coming back again. I was on drive. Can Russell stop it? You know, so see, he's an athlete. We know that. You know, good stop there, and great throw. So now we have Andre McCarty back facing Nevin Stewart. They need a good over here. 3 more balls to go to finish strong in this over. So then after that, they can get back into bring Andre Russell or Najaf Shah back into attack. So Andre Russell being sent back to the long on boundary or long off boundary. So Stewart again, and this time he just bunts the ball and takes another single here, brings Rutherford back on strike. That's what he's been doing, and he's been so successful. I think one thing, the strategy of Cavaliers captain, he knows that, you know, McCarty is looking for singles. You should just pack your infield to stop some singles, and we haven't seen that. We're witnessing this field is still spread out when McCarty is facing, and, you know, it's so much easier for him to tap and run and then, you know, bring Rutherford back on strike. That was a good delivery by Stewart here.
So 29 needed from 31 balls. We've seen 4 runs in the over so far.
It's been a good one for the Cavaliers. Stewart wants to finish it strong, but Rutherford is on strike. And last 2 deliveries, he knows that he needs a boundary in this over just to make sure that he stays ahead of the run rate. Very sensible batting, very sensible. There was no short mid-wicket or anything, and he runs down for a single.
Yeah, Bilal, and what could be worrisome here for Somerset Cavaliers? Toward their better bowlers, Fidel Edwards and Pacer Najaf Shah, who's bowled impressively well. Has only 1 over remaining, and the spinners have really disappointed the Somerset Cavaliers. We saw Asad Gauss going for quite a few in 2 overs. We saw Navin Stewart going for almost 9 and over. And we've seen Chandra Paul go for 5 runs and over, so we'll have to wait and see as we welcome the tallest man from the com box and certainly from the commentary crew, Audley Watson, back in the box with 28 runs needed from 30 balls and 22 yards, a partnership of 76 between Sherfin Rutherford and Andre McCarty. Welcome back, Audley Watson. And Audley, earlier on we saw McCarty not getting to almost run a ball, but that has really paid off because Sherfin Rutherford has made up with slamming a few 6s here and there.
Thank you, Lenny. Yes, indeed. Things are looking not too good for the Somerset Cavaliers, the defending champions. And the 22 yards Sultans, they are looking good right now. And we have to say at the moment, because anything could happen, but they are sitting pretty at 105 for 2. And in my book, I have them 75% to win and 25 for the Somerset Cavaliers. But when you're a champion, you know how to win. And it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. But I think the 22 yards are just about spreading themselves a little longer at the moment. And impressive batting by Rutherford so far. Yes.
So a bit of a bathroom break for Rutherford. And so he comes out back. So he's batted extremely well. Look at that, 54 from 39 balls. And this could be a match-winning innings from the Guyanese left-hander.
Yes, and he's pretty young, 22 years old, representing West Indies in 6 ODIs, and he also played some 7 IPL matches. And he does a little bowling. When he bowls, if he bowls, it's right-handed, and he's a left-hand batter.
And not only that, Audley, he has certainly made his way into franchise cricket in the world.
An impressive list I was looking over.
I would love to sit down on the bench of Mumbai Indians.
Quite an impressive list.
Yeah, he's showed up for Mumbai Indians, although not getting an opportunity to play. And in fact, in the previous year, was part of the Delhi Capitals lineup.
I was looking it over. Indeed.
And this year also, he was part of the Karachi Kings. And if I'm not mistaken, the Karachi Kings team have won the PSL this year, did they?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think you're right. But as a young man, he's only 22, so I can just imagine by the time he turns 25 or thereabout, 30, he would have overtaken Saeed Afridi as the most traveled cricketer when it comes to franchise cricket and playing all over the world. So he'll be facing once again the bowler coming up from the northern end, the West Palm Beach end, and he pushed that one, yes, no, and they retrieved to the safety of their crease. So he's batting on 54 from 40, and this partnership, Lenny, is very, very important because they were stuttering a little bit. Not that they were, in terms of wicket loss, they were good in that department, but they were a little behind. But that's the good thing when you have the wickets in hand and you have a good partnership, then it turns things completely around. West Indies player Fidel Edwards once again. This one's tucked just backward of square for a single.
So the next match we'll see Atlanta Paramveers take on US All Stars. The Atlanta Paramveers, of course, have Chris Gale in the lineup, Universe Boss, and of course the US All Stars, some Canadian national, along with the likes of Ali Khan, will be big names headlining that game. That one happens after this one. And so we're watching 22 yards. Can they storm into their first final here?
Well, I've been wondering, as suggested this morning, I don't know if they're going to be reduced to 21 yards or be extended to 23 yards. But at the moment, it seems as if they are growing.
Yeah, so far as they would say, they've gone the full 9 yards. So that is totally different from 22 yards. But we're watching McCarthy, who has been part of a partnership.
Figuratively, Lenny, yeah, they have gone all nine yards. It came about because the artillery, the length of the artillery belt when they in the army, it was 9 yards. So when the officer would ask, "Hey, why did you give it to him?" They say, "Oh, the whole 9 yards, officer." So they are giving their everything. So they are giving their whole 9 yards. McCarthy 19 from 32, batting steadily, keeping the ship together along with Rutherford 55 from 41.
Yeah, Fidel Edwards and the Cavaliers badly need to break this partnership that is really seemingly taking them across the line. A wicket here, a wicket there, you never know. They come in clusters sometimes, but so far we've seen sensible batting from Andrew McCarthy, and Rutherford has punished the bad balls here and there, so that is really made up. They were never chasing a high run rate. It was always around 6, 7, and so far they've kept pace with what's happening. We saw the departure of Malik and Trevon Griffith, but since then, that's the only two batsmen to have exited the 22 yards. So far we've seen a big partnership here by McCarthy and Shorefane Rutherford.
79 runs so far, the partnership.
So 25 needed from 26, almost run a ball. And oddly, what we have seen in modern day T20 cricket, you don't lose many games with run a ball with 8 wickets standing and two of your well-set best batsmen out in the middle.
Absolutely not. But then, stranger things have happened. So Fidel Edwards once again, and that gonna go down to fine leg over the boundary. Now it's another US fantasy 4 runs boundary.
Yeah, McCarthy has taken on Fidel Edwards. Ball going down the leg side. A very attacking shot from Andrew McCarthy. Picks up a boundary.
So they're motoring on, and the partnership now 83 runs. And what was really needed, they have supplied that steady head, steady batting.
So 21 needed from 25. 21 needed from 25. 22 yards Sultan. Trying to move away now from Somerset Cavaliers. And Cavaliers would have been in the last, in fact, the last 3 finals. They're on slippery grounds here of having to have been eliminated here by 22 yards. They call this the eliminator.
As Ivor would say, the winners stay and the losers go home.
So 113 for 2, 16 overs gone, so 20 to win from 24.
Yeah, for them.
Partnership of 84. McCarthy and Sherfin Rutherford has batted brilliantly this afternoon.
Indeed, and they are really displaying what's necessary. You are the champions, but you know we're going to play you. You're just another team. You are just our opponents, and we might have been the underdog, but you know what? We are here to win. And so far, it seems as if they are heading in that direction.
Yeah,
not theirs yet, but heading in the direction.
Yes, certainly. Oddly, opposite of underdog is top dog, and certainly what we are seeing here, it appears that 22 yard is the top dog at the moment. Nathan Stewart typically makes things happen, but not today. He has gone bare. He's gone none for 27 in 3 overs, so he's gone 9 and over. And we haven't seen one of those wickets that certainly could cause a breakthrough. So things have gone quite barren here for Nathan Stewart.
And let's see if he's going to try and change that. No. That was a good delivery. Coming back from the outside off and kept really low. So you could say it's looking a bit slippery, but in when it comes to Rutherford and McCarthy, no problem so far.
So Somerset Cavaliers have been in the US Open final 2017, 2018, 2019. They're in danger here of crashing out in the semi-final as all played into the offside. They scamper through for a single in the end. An attempt throw here by Fidel Edwards doesn't go well. And another nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Yes, it definitely looked that way at the moment.
So 19 to win from 22. What a partnership here between McCarthy and Sherfin Rutherford. 85-run partnership.
As a matter of fact, I'm going on record to say it would be hard to see 22 yards losing from this position. It can still lose, but it will be very hard.
So Najaf Shaw and Somerset Cavaliers looking for where one wicket will come from. None of the bowlers so far is able to penetrate. We've seen Fidel Edwards, we've seen Asad Gauss, we've seen Najaf Shaw, we've seen the world-class player Andre Russell, and we see Chandrapal Hemraj tried. And so far, 85 runs later, none of them have been able to penetrate the partnership between Rutherford and McCarthy. And they've gotten really stronger over by over.
And that one's through the vacant slip here, only 1 run. But just would like to inform the viewers when we are talking about the odds and stuff like that, we're just having fun here. We're not gamblers. We are not taking sides, but we're just calling the game as we see it and have some fun as we go along.
So 18 to win from 21. 18 to win from 21. It's 115, as you can see that.
So my odds is now 90 to 10 in favor of 22 yards.
Cavaliers looking for a bowler to come up with a breakthrough. There are 11 ways the batsman could be out and choose one. Nothing has worked for them so far. You can run out a man, you can stump him out, you can bowl, caught, handle the ball, obstructing the flow of play. And so far, nothing has worked. 17 to win from 20 balls. Sherfin Rutherford has played a good hand.
I think they need to be at 12th way to get out.
And so the 22 yards. And that's the measurement, by the way, of a cricket pitch. And I'm wondering, oddly, what's the measurement? What's the measurement from the stump to the batting crease? 48 inches? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's 48 inches. Yeah, 4 feet. 4 feet.
So
That
22
I'm not
yards.
100% sure of, but you know, we can I can look it up to make sure, because we like to inform our listeners, our
So
viewers.
22 yards is what, 66 feet.
66 feet, 3 times 22.
Yeah, they've played very well today. In fact, their catching was a little bit off in the earlier stages of when they bowled, but once they got it right, their bowlers were on song. We saw good bowling from Jesse Singh. We saw from Bishu. We saw good bowling from Kevin Sinclair, Ashmid Ned, Asad Ali, everyone. It was a team effort, and the bowling was good. The catching later on became even better than what it started.
Started on shaky legs, but finishes well. And as it said, sometimes it's not how you started, but it's how you finish. And that's what important. We're seeing some dancing there. Do you think it's premature dancing, premature celebration?
Well, a good-looking shot from Andre McCarthy. In fact, when you look at the tally here, that's McCarthy's second four. So he has reason to celebrate, and of course, with no other way to celebrate than to give a jig or so. He 12 to win from 18 balls. And this is not only a big win in the semi-final, but you're taking out one of the favorites of the tournament, a team that has gone for the last 3 years here at the U.S. Open in the finals, and so they are on the verge of getting sent home here by a well put together 22 yards, and they played well. That's the most important thing. We've seen squads come to the U.S. Open with top names, but they haven't played well. And today we've seen 22 yards, a good team, and they've played well.
They're going all 9 yards.
As Andre Russell comes back into the attack.
Well, let's see if Superman can turn things around for his team, because right now it's not looking good. 12 needed from 18 deliveries with all of 8 wickets in hand. So they're going to be needing some magic from the Superman. Will he be super? Andre Russell. Batter pulled away because maybe some little psychology there. But he'll be ready next time around. Superman walking back slowly there. Will something happen for the Somerset Cavaliers? Will something happen? They are champions, and they are playing like champions, but the 22 yards team, they are certainly playing like they want to be the new champions.
So a partnership of 92. We could very well see a 100-run partnership if they're not dislodged in 18 balls.
Low creeping one outside, just outside the off stump from Andre Russell.
So the bowlers have had to toil a long day today for Somerset Cavaliers. In fact, you look at the scorecard, only Andre Russell was able to get a wicket. The other one, of course, came by the run-out route, where we saw Malik stranded in the middle. And since then, we haven't seen a fall of a wicket, so things have really gone barren for the Somerset Cavaliers. Not typically so. They've always played well as a team, and their bowlers have always come to the party. But one has to give credit to Andre McCarthy and Sharfin Rutherford. They're up to a 93-run partnership, and so far they look solid as ever.
There comes a time when the champs will just have to give it up, whoever you are, if it's boxing, if it's tennis, whether it be golf or anything else. The champ sometimes will have to step aside because of young challengers. And this one is going to be pretty interesting. Oh, shot at the wicket, but misses. And the fielder lying down in disgust. Why did I hit? Why did I miss? But he was brilliant in the fielding, and I think that's Fidel Edwards. So it's one more to the total for 22 yards. So far in this over, a dot and 2 ones. 17 overs, 3 balls. Target 133, presently 123. So not much in terms of runs to chase, and they've got the wicket. 127. We're just missed another 4. Yeah, another US Fantasy 4. So the writing is virtually on the wall. And when you see the writing on the wall, it means judgment is imminent.
So 6 runs needed from 14 balls. And either Shorefin Rutherford or Andre McCarthy will certainly put their hands up for the player of the match. They've batted brilliantly today. They have certainly outplayed Somerset Cavaliers. And Cavaliers in 2021 will have to come again. They've a losing streak will certainly come to an end here, as 22 yards has spoiled the party. And that's the way it goes sometimes. Certainly outplayed by 22 yards. Not anything to be ashamed of. To lose in the semi-final, not certainly a big accomplishment to have come here. And they're on the verge of crashing out of the 2020 US Open.
And that's cricket for your king for the day. Anything can happen, as I say, in T20. That one, I think, just touched the fingertips of the fielder as he jumped down to deep mid wicket. But it's down to the boundary, and Russell is walking off, not looking too happy, I would say, heads down. His head is down because he realized that the score is tied, 132 for 2. So we could well say 22 yards, they are winning on a canter, going away.
So 103-run partnership. What a batting stand here from Shorefin Rutherford and Andre McCarthy. They literally took the game away from Somerset Cavaliers. The scores are level, and so anything can happen here. But it's gonna be difficult with 2 overs remaining. We'll have to pick up the new bowler. But the writing is on the wall. We were saying about the writing on the wall the other day.
Mm-hmm.
A term that would have come from the book of Daniel in the Bible. Belshazzar, and of course when in the Bible, in context of what was written there, was nothing good on the wall. So
nothing good. And not only that, there was judgment, but it was imminent. It's gonna be,
All right, so there we go. 22 yards are into the final of the US Open 2020. And they have gotten the better of Somerset Cavaliers. They win by some 8 wickets. And Shorefin Rutherford and McCarthy has put on what? 109, 108-run partnership. And so that's it, folks. We will see possibly a new champion this year. Well, yes, because Somerset Cavaliers, they're the defending champ. They're out of the tournament, and we're coming up to see Atlanta Paramveers take on US All Stars.
So the score we have here, and the bowling figures: Andre Russell. No, it's the batting. Andre Russell 16 from 12. McCarthy 35 from 40, and Rutherford. It's Griffin 16 from 12. McCarthy 35 from 40, and Rutherford 68 from 49. The last 2, of course, being not out in the score of 136 for 2. In the bowling department, not looking too good. Edwards, none for 27. We have Assad, none for 24 in 2 overs. And the only wicket taker out there was Andre Russell, 1 for 21 in his 3 overs. Extras 7, 18 overs and 1 ball, 136 for 2. So 22 yards, winning by 8 wickets.